everybody. This is WINO Forever, the Deppenining podcast. This is episode, I just blanked. I think it's 24. My name is Sarah. I'm joined by the mollusk and the pre-plugged mollusk. Take it away, sir.
You want me to explain what that is? Yeah, so you set that up. I wasn't even, I wasn't even going to explain it. Elon Musk, as everybody knows, has, not as everybody knows, I don't think anybody knows. I think people should know. He had insane, I guess you could call it vibranium hair plugs put in. How many years ago would you surmise that is?
I know very.
5?
I know about him from this
I know.
case.
I
So
don't know. So there's a bunch of before and after pictures, and this is the before. Now he has hair like, what would you compare it to?
Nicolas Cage hair.
James Franco in Rebel Without a Cause.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, he's right. I mean, he's like in line with the Hollywood hair plug generation. Matthew McConaughey. There's a great Matthew McConaughey story I read, how he's denying he has hair plugs, how he had some magical potion he found that he rubs into his hair 15 minutes a day, and it miraculously grew back. At the same exact time Nicolas Cage's did, at the same time Christian Slater's did, and Vince Vaughn's, and there's this whole list of guys who are completely balding in the 90s who have these like ridiculously de-seeding hairlines now. And it's all natural.
I know you're not
like science, defying science in Hollywood.
I know you're not a huge fan of his, but the one good thing you can say about like an Anthony Cumia is he got ahead of it and admitted to it.
Oh, owned
And
it. Absolutely.
he allows people to rip on him for it. So I admire that, at least.
You know who else owns it is Dennis Miller.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, it's a weird thing. He's a weird guy. And the one thing I think he's like what you said. Just get in front of it, and no one's just going to haunt you with it. On his HBO show, at one point, he looked into I'll never forget this, when I was a fan of his, he looked into the camera and he goes, oh God, how did he might have said plughead. Holy shit. He might have actually said that. He looked into the camera, he goes, oh my God, I'm getting so many hair plugs in this next hiatus. And he starts to, like, when he would get nervous, he would play with his hair and spin around on stage and look into the camera. He goes, geez, just, I swear, I think he said, he goes, God damn, you're going to call me plughead, like a Dick Tracy villain, for Christ's sake. And
the only reason we're even talking about this, I think you wanted to bring him up. That's the undo your impression. That's the only.
No. I'm just thinking of guys. Tom Arnold actually owned it too. That's another guy, Tom Arnold, and that was way long ago. I mean, that's like in the, mid to late 90s, and technology has come a long way in that plughead, hair grafting, hair system, hair plugs, and we're all on Radio Gunk ruining the day when Howard finally is forced to. He is going to the grave with that plughead, with that hair system, and not admitting it. It is his brand. And he will be buried next to Grandpa Saul, and their hair plugs will grow out of the ground.
Frightening.
He's buried in a Hamptons Beach at 17 Squabble Lane.
I think he's going to be entombed somewhere. There's probably some structure already built on the ground so they can turn it into Graceland too.
Don't you mean Sturkshire?
Oh, yeah. Nobody knows what we're talking about. Okay.
That's fine.
All right. This is a podcast about Johnny Depp, believe it or not.
Well, the Elon Musk connection, I think people realize why we're doing this.
This is kind of an
Hopefully his hair plugs comes up in the trial.
This is kind of an extended Depp news episode, and then we're going to get back into our UK testimony on the next episode. We're taking a mini break from that because those episodes are draining and are hours and hours and hours, as everybody has seen in our video history. Okay, so
as much as we enjoy them, I mean, your performance as Sasha Was is so. I think if the SAG Awards and Golden Globes and Oscars weren't, the Oscars is tonight, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think you would have had a shot. I really believe you would have had a shot.
I'm happy. I'm very proud of myself. I don't know what if the Oscars are tonight. It's
You're
Sunday,
proud of
so
yourself for
maybe.
the performance of Sasha Was?
No, I'm proud of myself because I don't know when the Oscars are this year.
Oh, a lot of people don't. It's really becoming antiquated. It's very similar to the NCAA tournament. They
Mhm.
seem to be more antiquated as the years go on.
If you didn't have
People
gambling,
aren't aware
nobody
of it.
would be watching college basketball.
No,
Okay.
no. Well, the players got to get paid somehow, right?
Yeah. Um, okay, so what are we starting with?
Well, would you like to start with my cute story or the audio that I told you to play?
Let's do your
Uh,
story, then we'll do the audio and then get to our main topic.
this is a story of what a great chameleon Depp is and his commitment to his craft and um, his process. And well, on the set of 21 Jump Street, the movie, Brie Larson, who plays Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel, I wish she was called in the Marvel movies, um, was on in this. A lot of people forget she's in this 21 Jump Street movie. We talked about it last time. Is Dave Franco is in it, and obviously Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum, who's mixed up in the succubus stuff too. Well, I did not see him subpoenaed, but he has been. Depp is one of the many leading men Depp accused him of cheating with.
Mhm.
And if we could do it here, maybe we could do like your filmmaking skills and show the grinding uh, lap dance she gave him in the movie Magic Mike 2, which would lead anybody to believe that's going somewhere else when
To
the
make
camera's
it
turned off.
fair use and transformative content, I will have it play here, um, muted while we discuss it.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay.
Definitely. Oh, definitely, definitely. And just a sprawling cast. If you go back and look at it, there's so many good actors in it from top to bottom, cameos galore. And as everybody knows by now, if you haven't seen this film, F you don't deserve to see it. Depp and Deluise have a brilliant television show crossover cameo at the end of the film. The theater I was in exploded into applause when he was
Mhm.
revealed. Depp plays a New Orleans biker, and if you listen really closely, he tries to do a little Cajun accent in there, and he looks like a ZZ Top,
Yeah.
kicked out of ZZ Top, and I'm sure that's what he was exactly going for. Fake nose, hair, bandana over him, completely unrecognizable. The very personification of what chameleon acting is supposed to be. Now, DeLuise plays a much lesser commitment to this, where he and again, if you go back and watch the movie, I want you to go back and watch the biker scenes and see if you can spot them, because you're not supposed to. They never really zoom in on either one of them. DeLuise more so. There's a couple times where if you really look closely, you could go, "Oh, that's DeLuise," but you didn't really know it. They don't want to reveal the two. DeLuise is more in frame. When Depp's in frame, it doesn't matter because you don't. There's no way you could know who he is. There's just no
Mhm.
way. Uh, and they just play two bikers infiltrating this one. I think it's called the One Percenters, and a carryover from the television show. They're now Hanson and Penhall are now DEA agents that have graduated into going under this crazy drug case, drug enforcement agency to infiltrate this gang. And they're hanging out with them, and they're kind of in and out of the movie, and they pop in and out. And seeing it for the first time, there's no way it's him. So it's so convincing that Brie Larson mistook Depp as an extra on the Jump Street set, thinking he was an actual biker. And Depp just played along, and he had the jar of peanut butter and everything. So director Christopher Miller reveals Brie Larson mistook Johnny Depp as an extra on the set of 21 Jump Street due to his convincing biker costume. Director Christopher Miller and Brie Larson mistook Johnny Depp as an extra on the set of 21 Jump Street movie due to his biker costume. The buddy cop action movie served as an adaptation and continuation of the late 80s television series of the same name and revolved around Morton Schmidt and Greg Jenko, named after Sal Jenko, when they were friends. Two incompetent police officers sent back to high school undercover in the hopes of discovering a supplier of dangerous new drug. Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill played the lead roles. Also co-wrote the film. Lead cast includes Dave Franco, Rob Riggle, D. Ray Davis, Ice Cube, Chris Parnell, Ellie Kemper, Jake Johnson, and Nick Offerman. Hitting the theaters in 2012, 21 Jump Street received rave reviews from critics and audiences alike for its blend of satire and nostalgia for the original series, a teen movie genre, and Hill and Tatum's effective comedic chemistry. The film also proved to be box office smash, grossing over $201 million against its $54 million budget, spawning a sequel 2 years later that received equal critical acclaim and higher financial returns. Despite continued success in the third film, multiple spin-offs, including Men in Black crossover, have seemingly died in developmental hell. In honor of the film's 10th anniversary, Christopher Miller, they have the team of directors. This is the thing now in Hollywood. They have like the duo directors, which is not a bad thing. You get two perspectives. Depp worked for the Hughes brothers, twin brother directors in From Hell. Two black guys. In honor of the 10th anniversary, Christopher Miller took to Twitter to share behind-the-scenes photos and stories from the 21 Jump Street film. One such story included their first week being in the hotel room shootout scene. That's at the end of the movie, during which Brie Larson mistook Johnny Depp as an extra due to his extensive biker hair, makeup, and costume. Check out Miller's post below so that maybe we could put the tweet in. It says, from the moment we did our first camera test with Channing Hill and Jonah Tatum, we knew they were magic together. Philip Lord and I looked at each other, and we knew we just had to give them space to play with each other, and did naturally so. He goes on and goes, our first week, again, I'll read this tweet and I'll give you a little. Our first week was the climactic shootout with Johnny Depp. He's unrecognizable in his biker costume. Brie Larson thought he was an extra the whole time, and he realized an opportunity. Depp realized this opportunity and disappeared for 3 hours over a meal break and returned saying he'd never been to Bourbon Street in New Orleans before. So he walked around in this costume incognito so nobody would recognize him. Now,
test.
it's funny here. This is the star treatment, and he should get it, obviously, here, if anybody should. When they film a movie, a lot of people don't realize they'll shoot it whatever's convenient out of sequence. So they have like you're the filmmaker, you know how this goes.
Sure.
They'll have like scenes 1 to 250, and they'll go, today we're going to shoot scenes 10 to 20 because that's convenient for us, and they shoot stuff out of sequence. They don't shoot it in order. Some actually people do shoot it in the order of the movie because it's easier for them to stay in rhythm of what. But to cater to the stars, you say to Depp, like, look, man, we love that thank you so much for doing this cameo. We're going to tweak this all for you. We're going to shoot it the first week. We're going to get you out of there in 3 days. And so this is the end scene. They shot it on the first day. His scene is sort of the climax in the movie when Hanson and Penhall are revealed, and they cater to him, and they shoot it on like first day of shooting to get him out of there, which is crazy. Notice DeLuise isn't even mentioned. Poor DeLuise. Actually, he is a little bit.
DeLuise is not the reason why this movie's even being made. Johnny Depp is the reason this movie is being made.
That's another great point by you. Like, there's no movie, and this is a very successful. It's a very funny. They did such a good job on this.
This is the closest you're going to get to a Tom Hansen grows up movie.
Right, and it's he's not as well. I mean, this is a whole other thing. As you reminded me the other day, he's not dead. Spoiler.
I like that I'm the one that told you that.
Well, I just kind of didn't take it seriously because I didn't think it was going to be canon. So I forgot it.
You immediately went into mourning and you just shut down. Your favorite 80s character of all time.
If you get a chance on YouTube, even the outtakes, extras, which I'm not sure what they're doing is canon, he's not dead. He's not dead. So they open the door, and hopefully this does do something. My idea of a 21 Jump Street like Netflix series where he's the captain.
We'll
Stephen
see.
Williams comes back and gives him advice, and tells him how to. I know. We'll see. Look, that would be phenomenal. It would be so, and he could play it in the same tone as the friggin' movie if you want. If Depp
Mhm.
wants to play it comedically, and I know he often will strive for that. Depp starred in the original 21 Jump Street series as Officer Tom Hansen, with the show's large success largely based on helping propel the actor into the spotlight as a teen idol, status he detested at the time. Oscar nominee's role was kept hidden throughout most of the 21 Jump Street movie as simply one of the bikers in the One Percenters gang, only for he and Peter DeLuise to reveal themselves as their original characters in the climactic hotel shootout. Larson mistaking Depp as an extra while filming 21 Jump Street is understandable because given the actor donned a large wig, fake beard, nose, sunglasses, and bandana all the way up to the final reveal. Interestingly, Depp wasn't in the original 21 Jump Street series cast to reprise the role for Phil Lord and Miller's adaptation with Holly. I'm sorry. Interestingly, Depp wasn't the only original 21 Jump Street series cast member to reprise their role for Phil Lord and Miller's film adaptation, with Holly Robinson Pete also returning as Judy Hoffs early in the movie as Hill and Tatum's characters headed to the police impound lot to look for their car that would impress a high school crowd. Lord and Miller would continue. That's so according to this continuity, Judy Hoffs now works at police impound,
Mhm.
just dishing cars. That's what happened to the well, she was a terrible cop. You could see
Oh,
why.
she's awful.
Yeah, she butchered
She'd go
every
undercover
assignment.
and she'd be revealed by the end of the first meeting with the
in,
perps.
ni- in 90 seconds. Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
cop. You got me.
Yeah. I want to help you, so I'm going to tell you who I am. My name is Judy, and I'm a cop. Before she got any information out of him.
It's almost like she wants to get kicked off the assignment just to have like free time. Like
Mhm.
that's the goal. It's like, yeah, they got me. I got 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
I got desk duty. Lord and Miller would continue this trend in 22 Jump Street as well, with brief cameo appearances from Dustin Gwen and Richard Grieco as Harry Truman, Aoki, and Dennis Booker, respectively. Though 23 Jump Street is seemingly dead in the water. I don't know why. I don't know why they can't do. It would have been interesting to see who else would have a directing cameo would have tried to pull in from the original. It's ridiculous Captain Fuller didn't get in this. It's
Mhm.
ridiculous. I'm gonna have to ask him about that
Okay.
because he'd be all over it. She's
Mhm.
so good in the series too. I
How
really
sad is
think
it though that
Stephen
he actually
Williams.
filmed a scene and they cut it?
Oh, I know. For all we know, that happened, but I doubt it. We would have known by
Mhm.
now.
Yeah.
So that's all I know. But that's how great a chameleon Johnny Depp is, and it's a great segue to our next thing of what kind of how much better he is in this actor criticizing him.
Okay.
That in real life you can't spot him on a set. That is a phenomenal story. Him skulking around Bourbon Street. Um, Zion Williamson hopping around on crutches.
I
Uh,
think I think your tractor beam would have spotted him, so you would have just followed him around Bourbon Street and
I think even I might not have
I
spotted
don't
him.
know. I think you are meant to be with him. So you would
No,
have
you know,
spotted him.
here's what would have happened. Here's what would happen. I would have plucked the tattoo on his hand.
That's
That's
yeah,
how I
that's
would have recognized him.
there you go. Followed him
I'd be like looking at this guy. I
like
think I
he's
can
Evan
spot
Turner.
him.
All
All right.
right.
So leading into our next story of how this inhuman chameleon is being criticized by this one or two trick pony British actor who goes on Jimmy Kimmel. So take it from there, Sarah.
You lead me through this
Oh
because I
well,
think I
okay,
have it
okay.
queued up. But Brian Cox
We
wrote
have
a
done this
book.
story 3 or 4 times. Brian Cox
Hmm.
to write a book was doing these really sloppy Rorschach criticisms of various name droppings from Hollywood.
Well, he's got
Really
to get
just
publicity for his
oafish
book that nobody cares
and just
about.
not well thought out. I don't
Hmm.
care if he criticizes even someone deity uh, like Depp, sacrosanct, but have an argument. At least if he said, I hate the downward spiral of his career in the last 8 years, his film choices have been wretched. Um, concentrate on the work again. I don't like the Disney relationship he has. Good, I get that. You know, I want him to go back to his maverick spirit and the 90s and how unique his script picking ability was. If he said something like that, I could even sign off on a lot of it. But it's this sloppy criticism with nothing behind it. It's just a Carl's Jr. of Nothing Burger, you know. He's trying to be this intellectual with he can't explain himself. And this so goes on Jimmy Kimmel, I think it was last week, backpedaling on it, trying to clean it up because I guess he got pummeled online by Deppheads and the army of wives.
Not the best timing since the Depp women are riled up to
Yes.
unprecedented heights these days. So no criticism is taken lightly, especially on Twitter.
No. And especially when he has no concrete, definitive criticism.
Yeah,
And
he
he
had
doesn't
no idea
explain
what he was
himself
getting
well.
into.
He did, and
Yeah.
well, it's just I did think he should get eviscerated for not being articulate about it. Where there are things you can go after, but what he says doesn't make any sense. And no matter where this all goes, Depp is 10 times the chameleon he is. Let's see this motherfucker go from Edward Scissorhands to Ed Wood to Donnie Brasco to Jack Sparrow. Let's see anybody show me that range.
So I think I have it queued up. If not, tell me. If you want me to pause it, tell me. Blah blah blah. And when I push
It's
play, I may
pretty
have
short.
when I push play, I may have to adjust volume for a second. But okay. Here we go.
Want to get up, and the lady kept nudging me, say, "You've won, get up, get up." And I'm going, well, they may have made a mistake because
it's coming.
You wrote about a lot of one of the like truly honest and interesting celebrity autobiographies.
Thank
you got a lot of attention.
It's on Amazon, by the way. You can buy it quite easily.
It's on Amazon. It's called Putting a Rabbit
Weird accent.
You talked about Johnny Depp in this book.
Oh, no, careful.
Yeah, I wonder if you heard from. Did you hear from Johnny?
No, I've heard a lot from his. They call it a fan club, but I think it's some kind of CIA agency that works on his behalf, and they weren't too happy. In fact, I've written an addendum to this book.
Oh, you have?
If we ever get to paperback, it's going to be published in the UK in paperback, and because I just thought I was being a bit harsh, and you know what it's like. You go for the easy joke, and I went for the easy joke.
Oh,
and
boy, do I know.
Well, you live that way, you know.
Right.
So that was what happened, and I sort of regretted it.
Oh, did you really? Yeah.
Because I'm not like that normally, but I was just being a bit glib, flip, and I was a little bit. Flip.
Can't you say you're misquoted?
No, they didn't misquote me.
In your own book?
Yeah, exactly.
I guess you can't.
No.
Yeah. I wonder if I was thinking about it though, because I think the gist of it was that you said Johnny Depp was overrated. I wonder if most actors think of themselves as overrated or underrated.
I think they do. I think a lot of times you think that actors think they're overrated, and sometimes they think they're underrated.
I feel like most of them think they're underrated.
Yeah, probably. Let's put it this way. Most of them think they're not rated at all.
I see. Okay. All right. You put an index in the book, which is nice. It's actually, I was looking at it during the commercial break, because then you can just look for anybody you want to see your thoughts on or your stories about. I'm not in here,
like
by the way. Maybe
books.
the paperback. Maybe you and I should do something crazy together, so I get in the paperback.
It's funny about indexes, because I think you and I have one thing in common, that we look at indexes to see if our name is there.
Okay.
I agree with him on indexes too, by the way. When I buy a book, I do that all. When a book doesn't have an index, I don't buy it unless I really, really want it. I gotta know who you're writing about. I gotta know. I don't think it's too much to ask you write an index.
Well, even
by the way,
when you print out the transcript when you print out the transcript for the UK trial, most of it's an index. Like it tells you what pages you're going to find this word. And it's great for me because I printed. I want to die thinking I'm going to have to read 275 pages. But yeah, you throw away the index pages and you're down to 75 pages. It's great. Okay,
Well,
that's my rant.
you're pretty bookish, right? I mean, you love a good salacious biography. What would
Yeah,
you do without the index in the back? Isn't that why you? Who does? How
I
lazy
read
do
the
you
whole
have to
book
be to
though.
not provide?
I
Yeah, I know, but
rarely
I'm
look
saying,
at an
don't you love an
index.
index?
I
What?
well, yeah, when it lessens my workload, but I rarely look at the index.
I always do.
Yeah.
I want to know I can jump to a page and uh check out various subjects and stuff. I mean, you know why you're buying the book. I just think it's a who doesn't have an index? By the way, his accent is more fucked up than LeBron James' hairline. Are you British? Are you Scottish? Are you Australian? Are you Irish? What is that accent?
You're setting me off. You had to mention that name.
What, Brian?
No, the LeBron
LBJ,
James.
who
Oh,
passed the mailman last
stat
night on the
patter.
all-time scoring list? I can't
Yeah.
believe we're
Well, it
at
takes
that
20
point.
years, you know. Okay. What are we doing
Try
now?
doing that with just John Stockton over the
Yeah.
years and no other being the 13th pick in the 1985 draft.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about that, Sarah? That
He had no
even the
idea what he was
backpedaling
getting
was
in.
confusing.
He had no idea what he was getting into when he did this. He did it to get a few eyes turned his way by mentioning an actor, Johnny Depp, who's now, in the news, of course. He had no idea what or how capable Deppheads and Depp fans are with cutting you down and being relentless, and you're not going to get away with it these days. And it's going to be a very
Again,
long
I
time
don't
before
have
you
a
can.
problem with the criticism if there's something valid in there. He has nothing to say. It's a bunch of ambiguity, and like you said,
hmm
it's him trying to attract this Rorschach name dropping thing, and
It's
he's
for
no
a book.
concrete.
It's for a
Yeah,
book normally that would sell 5 copies. He sold 8 on Amazon.
yeah. Who's asking for a Brian Cox book?
I didn't even know who he was before all this started up. Nice
I
ice
can't wait.
comping.
Good catch.
Well, we can't help it.
I can't. I mean, I can't wait for the Martin Landau book next
Is
to
he
come
alive?
out. I think it. No, he's not alive.
Okay.
Depp's gonna write it. Depp's gonna ghostwrite it for him.
All right. No, he needs to
But
finish
again,
his
the
book first.
criticism is so he doesn't have anything concrete to say, and not only that, even backpedaling and his fake apology has nothing to say. So he can't even explain what he did, and he can't even muster up an articulate apology of any kind. He's kind of laughing through it, and it's just nothing behind it, and he's only regretting this because he got pummeled online,
Mhm.
supposedly. So he doesn't know. It's such a what a like you said, what a the fact that he even stepped into that arena is the most asinine thing ever,
Mhm.
especially with him. He criticizes other people in it too, but this thing,
Nobody
the
cares about the other people.
The Depp community is a whole other level
Mhm.
entity of rabid fan base that you just don't. There's really quite nothing like it. Um, who would you equate?
Oh God, I don't know.
I don't know if there's anything like this in all of Hollywood. I don't know if there's anyone this
Okay.
beloved.
Okay. Yes, Britney Spears and her current stuff.
No.
I think so. What our topic today? Are you ready to get to the main event?
Let's do it. Let's do
Okay.
it. So explain which I think a lot of people know, but
So within the last week, we had Mr. Depp, because the trial is quickly approaching. He released his list of witnesses. So what we are going to do today is through with you a slideshow of the witnesses and kind of give you next to their name what we can kind of give you an idea of what they are going to be saying. Excuse me, and testifying to. I had to mute. All right.
the cough button.
Oh my God. It hits at the exact right moment too, of course. Okay, so let me add something here. Oh, that was easy. I've never done a PDF through this. All right. So
Is it
you
easy?
know his life and everybody in his life. So I have a general idea of who these people are. And I put that on the screen too.
So you wrote this out yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Good.
And
That's very ambitious. I thought we were just going to go on a general. All right, good.
a lot of this is what it's kind of a cut and paste job, but kind of what they testified to in the UK trial. So I'm assuming it's going to be similar stuff. So the first one is Sean Bett, who is Johnny Depp's bodyguard. He heard one of the stories he's going to be telling is he heard chilling screams from the actor's apartment on the night of Amber Heard's 30th birthday party. I'm assuming these chilling screams were from Johnny Depp because she is the one that went off on him, punching him while he's trying to read in the bed, all because he was 2 hours late to her birthday party. From
After getting
being,
the worst news of his life.
yeah, from being in a meeting where he was informed he lost $650 million. So, and he owed back taxes and all the good fun stuff that we get into as Americans. Um, so that is Sean Bett. He has a lot of bodyguards. I noticed. I was going through the pictures. They all look the same.
They
They're
all
all
look the
like,
same. A lot of them are Irish
yeah.
and British, and Jerry Judge is a Brit. He's like the Alfred Pennyworth. If Alfred were a bodyguard, they're not all that way. I think Starling Jenkins is considered. Yeah, he's a security guard.
Hmm.
Uh,
They're all like
but yeah,
white, big, bulky, pasty white guys.
yes,
Oh, okay, let's get
except
to,
for Starling Jenkins.
yeah, Gina and Stephen Deuters, who we have mentioned that name, Stephen Deuters, in the Tracy Jacobs transcript from her deposition. Deuters Stephen has worked for Depp for 16 years. He admitted he had helped Depp get controlled drugs. But for the
Yeah, I was gonna
first,
say it says drug mule on my
yeah,
dossier.
hmm but for the first 8 years, he had never seen him take anything. I don't know if that's saying since he kind of separated from Vanessa and got with Amber that the drug taking stepped up. I don't know what his story is going to be there. Gina Deuters, I don't really know what she's going to talk about. Maybe she witnessed more because they usually will bring in a woman witness to talk more
Right.
about the relationship between maybe Amber Heard and Johnny Depp and what she witnessed. Do you have anything extra on Gina?
No, I don't know. She's considered. What's her occupation as relates to Depp?
There's a
Is
lot of
she is
pictures
she
of her with Johnny Depp where she's kind of just like kind of fawning over him and smiling at him. So I don't know. They
did
seem
they
to be
create
very
some
close.
position for? It's got to be just some team assistant thing.
Yeah, more than
Um,
likely. I wouldn't be surprised.
did you look her up as far as like detail? The kind of
Yeah, well,
did
it's
they
hard to
explain
there's not a lot of
more?
information on what she testified to, if she even did in the last the UK trial. But again, unless it's relationship stuff, I think she did testify to that, what she witnessed. Okay, so Ben King worked for Depp between 2014 and 2015, said that Heard was the antagonizer in her relationship with Depp and that the pair would argue like school children.
Ben King is one of his house employees, I think, isn't he?
Hmm. I believe so.
I'm trying to remember. I mean, he came up in the UK trial, and I'm trying to remember exactly what his yeah, he's the okay. His thing is he's the house manager in Australia when one of the
Hmm.
huge fights took place, and they're filming Pirates. So he's a major witness about the Aussie fight with the finger. I mean, he's going to be where it all went, and literally like just forensics up the a-hole.
Hmm.
He's going to be, I bet, a pretty big witness in all that. That's a big chapter of this. That Australia, the entire time he's in Australia with pirates and holding the filming up of that costing them millions of dollars, the finger thing, the dog smuggling, and the Australia thing in itself is a whole
Hmm.
saga.
Yep. Speaking of Australia, we have Malcolm Connolly.
Can I just
That's
say though about that Australia thing? So they on these films, Depp is such a huge star, and we talked about his right with Tracy Jacobs and the perks he gets. If someone's big like that, they'll literally rent them a house and give him anything he wants, and he could bring his family and his wife and dogs and do whatever. And there's pictures of it. There's this huge Australian mansion of sorts that he stayed at while he was filming Pirates.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of his writer. And this guy, Ben King, is the manager of this house. That's the level, when an A-list movie star gets. That's a lot of people don't realize. I think they stay at a trailer the whole time.
Yeah,
Sometimes they set
no,
it
they
up where they
don't.
just give him this huge house.
Mm-hmm. I don't see them the Depp herd group staying in a trailer.
Yeah, he's
So
got so much security and everything else, assistance, and huge entourage.
Mm-hmm. So Malcolm Connolly was the bodyguard. He again testified in the UK trial. He recalled going to the scene after Depp's finger was severed in a row with Amber in Australia, March 2015. He said, quote on the stand, I had the car door open, and when we were outside, Johnny said to me words to the effect of, look at my finger. She cut my fucking finger off. She smashed my hand with a vodka bottle. So he's certainly going to be testifying to Australia in those 3 alleged days of him taking her hostage and him torturing her, dragging her through glass somehow with no wounds.
By the way, there's a great scene, the last episode Depp ever did of 21 Jump Street, where he does a fake finger cut in woodshop class where his finger gets cut off, and he screams, "My finger!"
I think we use
We got to
that.
put that in right here. Did we?
I think we've
Let's
used
use
it.
it again. Let's use it again.
Sure.
Right here. Okay, and he, from my recollection, he's been with him since 2004, Malcolm Connolly. And what's 2004? 2004 is the year after he hits with Pirates, right? So now he's becoming way more wealthy, and I guess the security now is amped up, and the likes of Malcolm Connolly, as you call him, M-Con, is brought into the mix. I think is he the former prison guard?
I don't know.
I believe he is.
I have
He was
very basic information on each one of these
like a
witnesses.
really like like super security expert, and he like ran a prison and extraction unit or crazy shit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Travis, the infamous Travis, Travis McGivern.
Go fuck.
Oh,
Go
God.
fuck.
To
Was the Travis
Travis.
bust.
Okay, Johnny Depp security guard has told a court that he
Everyone's
witnessed
Irish.
Amber Heard throw a can of Red Bull at the star's back, punch him, and spit at him during a blazing row. That is the worst thing you can do to a person, is to spit at them. Usually, victims of domestic violence aren't that brazen to spit on their abuser. Travis McGivern, who has been the actor's security guard for 7 years, was called as a witness at Depp's libel trial at London's High Court. Travis has a
This would
very
make you look
important
more
role
European if
Travis has a very important role in the 2-hour audio release. She accuses Johnny Depp and Travis of being homosexuals, and apparently Travis went up to their room. I'm trying to remember which incident this was. Was it the bedroom incident?
Yeah.
The birthday incident? Okay. All right. So we have your buddy, Starling Jenkins.
I love this guy.
The actress
He's my
threw
favorite.
the actress threw her husband's iPhone in rage after a fight on her 30th birthday, then begged their LA building staff to help as she tried to trace it on an app on another phone, London's High Court heard. When I entered the residence, Amber explained to me that she had thrown Johnny's cell phone and the wallet containing it off the balcony the night before, the building's security guard, Starling Jenkins, said in a witness statement. Starling Jenkins is the one that had to go down, find this homeless man that had the phone, give him offer. Eventually, they settled on like a bag of tacos, some money, a few other things to get this phone back.
No, you're almost perfect. It's 400. I think I remember it's $425. I don't know how this guy comes up with it. We love this almost guy. It's just the specific, almost like a ransom note with the most specific, obtuse. He's not greedy. $425. I think he deducted some money off of. He knew about Depp's legal problems, and he said, "You know what? I'm not going to fleece him. I was going to say
All right.
4,000. Four. I think it's 4 chicken tacos.
Sounds
I
good.
couldn't. I tried like hell to figure out if they were soft or hard tacos. I couldn't figure it out. Wouldn't say.
They got to be soft.
4 bottles of water.
Okay.
There's no booze in there at all. Like you'd think, oh, he's homeless. He has to be an alcoholic. No booze. And socks.
Oh yeah, socks. I remember socks. That's nice.
Something else. It's a very modest exchange.
Yeah.
I wonder if they gave him more, if they tipped him. It was a
Oh, I don't
gaggle
know.
of homeless people, and Starling Jenkins interrogated them. And one of the guys, yeah, I got the phone. And he's like, you know what? What am I bet you he tried to unlock the phone and he couldn't do it. And he just, there was no way that he could. So, all right, it might have died.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I can't charge it. I can't do anything. Let's just give it back to him.
Yeah.
If he could figure out another way.
I wonder what else was in the wallet that the phone was in that she threw.
I know.
Again, a very brazen act, against your abuser to take his crap and throw it over the balcony.
Starling Jenkins has been with him. That'd be a great name for a Green Lantern, next Black Green Lantern. Starling Jenkins has been with him since '93.
Oh, good for him.
Which is kind of an odd time to start. It's almost like they assigned him on the set of Benny and June or something.
Mm.
And he's been with him ever since. You see him off and on, black guy, off in the background. And I've definitely seen him over the years lurking. Really fun guy. MVDV gave us the Instagram of him on that boat trip where he's going to, he's going to, the yacht of that grifter, the prince, the Saudi prince.
The sheik.
The sheik.
Okay.
So he's on that boat. Starling Jenkins is with him, and they're partying and having fun, and he's singing, I believe, in this MDV. That's a whole episode to itself. The one of the employees on the boat wrote a blog about it, and it's very extensive, and it's Depp dirt that if you're a super fan, you need to know it. It's a great, it's all about him and this huge, 28 chapter blog, and there's pictures on this thing, and it's like a huge yacht, and apparently that sheik, that grifter sheik, set this up, that Tracy Jacobs speaks about.
Mm-hmm. We have Dr. Kipper, Johnny Depp's version of Dr. Nick. If you mention me, go on and on about Elvis and the Johnny Depp comparison. They both have the same type of doctor, the white hair, the over leathery skin, the big white teeth.
Looks like sports fans. He looks like Robert Kraft.
Mm-hmm. And they seem
Johnny
to get whatever
Frotto.
they want from their Dr. Feelgood. But he is the doctor. He is, I'm assuming, going to testify to the drug use of both parties, the prescribed drug use of both parties. And he was also a witness to the relationship, of course. He is a heavily featured co-star in the Australia Audio.
Which I'd like to hear him speak. Because you're trying to
speak.
What, audio?
Yeah, that's him speaking. And you're going to see him on television.
Then the stuff with you talk about the stuff with Jerry Judge and the I meant like a full court situation. That's so faint in the background you can't really get a good take on his voice. It's decent. But I want to, you know what I mean, like visual speaking, the whole thing. I want to see.
You are going to see him on television very soon.
Yep, can't wait.
All right. So Isaac Baruch.
But again, I mean, his whole thing, we should say, I don't want to gloss over him. He's been accused of major stuff here. Dr. Kipper is compliant and facilitating the forging of insurance stuff to make it okay, the clearance on the Pirates film, and a lot of his films probably over the years, where he's giving him a full bill of health, drug testing, the whole thing, and apparently he's very much being accused of forging physical documents to get him cleared for insurance on all these films, which every actor has to do. And I'm sure this isn't the first time in Hollywood this has been a Dr. Feelgood's been used to get recreational drug users. Like, how is Charlie Sheen,
Yeah.
getting into all over the years, his entire career?
He's also known
That's
for
just
buying.
one example.
Yep. He's also known for buying Amber Heard a negligee for some reason.
Yes.
Which
Such
is
a weird. And he was on Deppstein Island, and he's attending to all their little requests, and he's just a personal physician. When you're that wealthy, you have personal physicians who can just cater to your every little medical needs to just keep
All right,
the
next.
SS Depp going.
Yep. Isaac Baruch, resident of Johnny Depp penthouse in the Eastern Columbia building. In his statement from the UK trial, she told me that he hit her in the face and threw a phone at her. I then asked her where he had hit her, and she stretched her neck and pushed out the right side of her head for me to look at her right eye. We both were standing in front of the open doorway in Penthouse 1 with lights from the hallway and the sunlight that came in through the windows from Penthouse 1, which filled the room and spread into the hallway. It was very easy for me to get an excellent view of Miss Heard's face. I literally was around 12 inches from her, inspecting her face, and I did not see a single mark or evidence of any marks, bruising, or swelling of any kind anywhere on her face. He is also one of the few people that Johnny Depp went to maybe get advice or to vent about the relationship over the year and a half they were married, and probably before. But Isaac Baruch is an artist. He owes Depp money that Depp will never get back, I'm assuming. And this might be one way to pay Depp back, is to give some good evidence against the succubus.
There's a short interview with him online, completely unrelated to this, and I saw it and I didn't watch it yet just to see what he looks and sounds like. He's I mean, anyone, obviously most people know the O.J. Simpson case backward and forward. He's basically Kato Kalin with an easel.
Yeah.
Depp has this compound of penthouses they no longer at the Eastern Columbia building, and what was he in penthouse 2? Is that the one he was assigned?
I want to say 2.
I want to say 2 as well. And he's Depp's confidant and one of his best friends, and he's just one of these LA artists. What did Sarah Jessica Parker describe it in that Sex and the City pilot as these Soho wonders who never sells a painting but has this huge, massive $600,000 loft in Soho.
Because they've
He's
befriended a
kind of
Johnny
like
Depp
that
somehow.
LA version of that, right? And he just kind of stays there and paints all the time. So when the whole penthouse thing got disassembled, when all the shit went down and he sold them and kicked her out, and he's the only friend of Depp's in this whole compound. There's 5 penthouses he paid for, and it's all her friends and family, and the only one that's a Depp affiliate is this guy. So when all that shit went down and the penthouses got disassembled, he actually moved to Depp's compound on Sweetser around the corner.
He also has another blurb where he stated he went to Raquel Pennington and her ex-husband Josh Drew, and after all this went down, he said to them, "Well, I guess we got to move out." And they said, "No, we're staying. We need to stay to protect Amber." So, from Johnny. So, he's less of a mooch than the rest of them. But if he's able to continue, if he's living in the pool house now on Sweetser, good for him.
Who's that dude from you were telling me about? You compared it to from Housewives, who's also like this. He had like
Cedric.
a black first name. Yeah, Cedric. That's it. Cedric Sabalos. If anybody watches, it's Beverly Hills Housewives or something.
Season 1.
It's the first season, right? So it's very similar to this guy, like Kato Kalin and that kind of guy, Ralph Cirilla from the Howard Stern show.
Yeah. With a little less of the running scam. So I think Cedric and your Ralph Cirillas and your Katos their scams are a little bit more involved than Isaac's. I think he was just happy to have a roof over his head.
Oh, no, definitely. He's probably a sweet guy. He just wants to be an artist in one of the most expensive cities in America.
and
and
oversaturated with artists in
right,
the
right.
city he's living in.
And Depp, as we know now, is a closet painter and artist and stuff with
Hmm.
this NFT crap. And I'm sure they probably spent many a night just painting and drinking and reminiscing about Miramar and Saljenko and Bruce Witkin and the kids and the Miami Dolphins. He's clearly from Miramar, so when you go back 40 years, that's Miramar territory,
Hmm.
Florida. Not there's two Miramars. Isn't there a Miramar in California
I
too?
don't know. I don't go to either state. So we have
They're lost. They're lost, Sarah.
no,
They're
they don't
lost.
care. They don't care. All right, Kevin Murphy. He worked for Depp for 8 years until 2016. This is the guy that he was kind of in
You
charge
call
of
him
the.
Murph?
No,
You call him Murph? Oh, come
no.
on.
He was in charge of the poop incident where she took a crap in the bed, their marital bed, that she now denies she did, and she claims the dogs, one of the tiny little, teeny tiny dogs did. Meanwhile, it's the size of a human defecation. She said Heard had dismissed the so-called defecation incident as a harmless prank shortly after it took place following her 30th birthday party in April that year. He also, the incident where she claimed uh, Johnny Depp threw a phone at her face that kind of ended the entire relationship, where he realized, oh shit, I'm in for it. Um, they had called Kevin, and Depp had asked him,
Sarah, can you call him Murph just for the sake
no,
of a? Come on.
no. Um, she had gotten on the phone, and Kevin had told her, yes, this is what you told me. It was a harmless prank. You admitted to it, and she cursed him out. Depp got back on the phone, or he heard Depp in the background saying, don't talk to him like that, be more respectful. But she was a nightmare to deal with, and he is one that is going to testify to that, and that she was responsible for the defecation.
Nicely said. I should also say Murph is considered the estate manager
Hmm.
at the Eastern Columbia building. This places we just talked about, the gaggle of penthouse compounds.
He also
That
is
is
the one that
right.
received the phone call from the maid, the original phone call from the
Yes.
maid when she went to make the bed and found the log in the bed.
Probably a tough job. Um,
Oh God.
Dealing with her and her gaggle of fake bohemian grifter friends all the time and
Hmm.
the ins and outs, and he has to deal with. He's going to be a major. I mean, if you think about it, he'd be a major witness in this. The Elon Musk arrivals, he'll know all that went on. I mean, if he really, really spills, you're going to get a lot out of him. I think he knows truly, truly. The gatekeeper and um, all the in and outs with Franco and Mollusk and
Well, I think
her grifter friends, and he probably
there's a
overheard
lady
conversations.
there's a lady coming up who is going to speak more to that, I'm sure.
Okay, so can't
Christian
wait to hear from Murph.
Christian Carino, he helped set up the San Francisco meeting where we had the audio of Depp asking her to cut him, and also
Was he
her.
cool?
Hmm. The fact, let's see. Okay, so in some text messages between the two, the fact that she asked to see you and traveled to see you has to be problematic, which is putting it lightly. He could have gotten arrested or fined for breaking the restraining order, even though they both agreed to meet. That's probably what he's going to testify to. Was even though she was quote unquote afraid of Depp, she had a restraining order out on him, but she wanted to meet and break the restraining order, so she must not have been too afraid. Meet him alone.
Uh, he. Well, we should also say that he was with the vampires during that San Francisco trip.
Hmm.
So somehow it worked out that she could somehow just try to meet with him. After uh, she sabotaged this whole thing, she's trying to. And what happens if he just goes
She was
along with that?
trying to, and I also read about Christian Carino. She was also trying to soften him up because they were still
Yeah.
negotiating the terms of the extortion letter.
Yes.
So she was trying to soften him up. That's hence the whole, oh, come and lay in the bed with me.
That he would just go along with their demands, and
Hmm.
right, she would probably spring that on him.
Yeah, not only trying to get some DNA evidence to level another accusation at him, possibly, which we
As
recently found out she has.
She'd be hoping Tonto Man would pitch a pup tent in the middle of this attempt at, quote, softening him up, no pun intended.
You got anything else on Christian?
Not really. It's not
Yeah.
really. There's not a ton of autobiographical data.
And we
But I
have
remember it was definitely it was in the UK transcript. I'm trying to remember if I read that in full, if it was a deposition or an actual interview. I can't remember anymore. It's so sprawling.
we have a star of our Jacobs transcript, Christy Dembrowski. She is Depp's sister and longtime assistant, meddler. I threw that in, but she is going to testify more than likely. She was also in contact with Amber Heard a lot. They would get together and have bitch sessions about Depp. She can testify, I'm sure, in great detail to the relationship and specific incidences. Hopefully, she testifies to the right side of the truth.
Christian Carino, did we mention as an agent?
No.
Yeah, it's her agent.
Amber Heard. Oh yeah, I did see that. I should have included that.
So I don't know if she still represents her or what. I can't figure Amber Heard's agency representation. I cannot track it. It seems to be all over the place, right? They seem to just jump around to. And I said to you last show, like, why do you think Tracy Jacobs was never pitched as her agent in that time? Would you think that'd be the first move she'd make? I mean, for Christ's sake, he's getting her roles anyway. Right? Through his connections.
I want to give Tracy Jacobs some credit and say in my fantasy world she didn't want to represent her.
I do too. I think you're right about that.
Yeah. All right. So next we have Tara Roberts. She testified to having witnessed Amber Heard physically and verbally abuse Johnny Depp on his island. She's the one that initially, correct me if I'm wrong, gave the information about Amber Heard would constantly call him a fat old man.
Yes, she's a state manager at the Deppstein Island.
Yep. She also witnessed. This image gets me. Johnny Depp had like a little John Deere golf cart type thing that he would ride around the island. I always picture like him riding around the island like Marlon Brando.
Can I just stop you for a minute? I just want to circle back just a little bit. Are you most fascinated? Because we're going to get it here, and I don't think you can minimize this. Where Depp's relationship with his sisters are right now, as it stands currently in 2022. His sister, Christy, she's named in lawsuit, just millions of dollars being fleeced, and she apparently deposited things without his permission. Where that stands now, and the Tracy Jacobs transcript goes into that a lot, and the stuff with his managers who he sued. But I'd love to know where they stand right now, both sisters, because they had the thing with the Kentucky estate and the horse farm and stuff.
But we'll get to her in a second.
Sisters. I can't wait.
So we have.
But again, Christy's truly the gatekeeper. She knows it all. She was the person you had to get to him for years and years and years. She might be the most imperative witness in the whole thing.
So I'm sure that he was forced. He had to mend quite a few relationships he didn't have any intention of mending to get some testimony from these people. That's one of them. So again, Tara Roberts, the estate manager for the island. She also witnessed Johnny Depp riding around on the John Deere golf cart. She would witness Amber Heard jumping in front of the golf cart, refusing to let him go by, and just trying to incite an incident constantly. So she also witnessed physical abuse, verbal abuse, hence the "you're a fat old man, nobody's going to care about you." Do you got anything else on Tara Roberts?
No, I mean it's pretty much all she is.
Yeah, I don't think she
is the
can.
gatekeeper. She ran stuff at the island, Deppstein Island, and she witnessed her being abusive to him constantly. Like you said, with the golf cart incident, and she's very much in his camp. probably treats her very well.
Yeah.
I think she had her family there and stuff. I think he took care of her
That's
family.
quite the gig. You get to live on
Yeah,
that
it is a gig.
island.
What a gig, right? If you had to, oh my God, doesn't that seem like I want to be, I want to be the estate manager for like Johnny Depp on his island. I just get to live in his island all year round. You know, he's there like 1/10 of the year, and
Yeah,
I
exactly.
just kind of touch some things up and tell him it's going okay. And oh my God, you're so right. That's better than uh um Jesus Christ. Why can't I think of her name? Why can't I think of her name? God damn it.
That's all
The
right.
jump off girl.
Rochelle Hathaway.
God damn. Rochelle Hathaway. I'm sorry.
How dare you? That's like the theme of our whole podcast. What are you
Booty
talking
call.
about?
I know. We were going to start a Rochelle Hathaway spin-off podcast.
No, we weren't. I'm I'm wondering if she is going to testify because you remember the stories of Amber Heard.
She wrote you in the comments.
Remember the stories about Amber Heard accompanying him to the island to detox, and she was withholding his medication on the
Yes.
island. I wonder if she knows anything about that. Is going to
You're talking about
testify to
Rochelle
that.
Hathaway or
No, Tara Roberts.
Tara Roberts? Yeah, I agree.
So, all right. Next up, we've got Edward L. White. He's an accountant. Taken from his UK testimony. So the attorney asks him, Amber Heard got 7 million, correct? And then he says, that's not all of it. Well, what else did she get? She got legal fees and bills paid on her behalf in the amount of $525,000 and liability of, I don't know what exactly, but she got many millions. So he is going to probably testify to what she actually did get out of that extortion that she attempted.
You know, oddly, he's been his business manager kind of since, well, and I assume he's still around. We read him, extensively in the Tracy Jacobs transcript. He was constantly being CC'd and called and stuff. Remember, he was at a Laker game, and he's been, so it says since 2016. I want to say it's before that because the Jacobs stuff predates 16. But you're absolutely right with all the demand. I guess he's going to speak to her demands.
And what she actually did get and what else she wanted, I'm assuming.
That'll be great. Because I think we don't even know the half of it. I think it was that one page, and it's probably going to stretch far beyond the penthouses, the Range Rovers, pay for my lawyers, give me, what was it, $100,000 a month?
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, that's
stipend for the
keep me
lifestyle I'm
in which
accustomed to.
keep me accustomed to the lifestyle. Yeah, the lifestyle in which I have become accustomed to.
In which, right?
Yeah. Okay, we have Sam. I'm not going to say this. Sarkar. You probably know more about him than I do. He's the senior vice president of that one production company that I can't pronounce.
Infinitum Nile.
Yes, there you go.
It doesn't come up a lot. It's kind of an obscure name.
One of the stories about Sam, Depp was so reliant on his earpiece that he promoted one of his previous sound technicians, Sam Sarkar, to CEO of his production company. That name I can't pronounce.
Infinitum Nile.
Yes.
Quote, director of development. Now, anybody didn't know this story, Sam Sarkar, there was a story written, and it was like a big deal. And I don't have a problem with it if it's executed well enough, because I think memorizing lines is overrated in movies. That Depp had become so lazy about his process and so distracted with everything else, he didn't have time to read and memorize the script. And so this guy he had an earpiece, and this guy's delivering his lines while he's performing the movie. He's probably like, it could be, I want to say like anything from like 2012 on. He's used. I think Pirates was the main one, especially Pirates 5, where he's going through all that shit and he's just not into the whole production. He's mailing it in. He's not barely showing up, and he's trying to get this out. He's getting a huge payday for it, and going through all this stuff. He's not really memorizing the script. He's just so apathetic about it all, jaded perhaps, and this guy's delivering his lines so he can get through it with an earpiece, which is like sacrilegious in Hollywood. But again, Depp's idol, one of Marlon Brando, says memorizing scripts. Again, I don't see. I can see Brando getting jaded by it too. But so they would have cue cards written for Marlon Brando when he was acting. I don't know if it was his whole career or the later part of his career. And Brando's argument was, in real life, you don't speak smoothly all the time. You pause and think and stammer and look. And so why can't I digest the line if it's written for me on a cue card? And why does life's not like that? Like, you don't deliver lines. I'm stammering right here, right? This is how people speak.
Yeah.
Not everything is perfect whisper acting from Juilliard. Real people don't talk like that. So I do understand that. There's more than one way to execute this delivering a character than just memorizing off a page.
Yeah, he's probably the one. I don't really know what he's going to testify to. Probably just more the business side. If he's a senior vice president of his production company, maybe what he's lost out on.
That's a good point. Well, again, it would tie into, Infinitum Nihil is the production company is represented on all these movies. So yeah, it's a whole financial thing with him.
Yeah. So we
And
have.
go
Sorry.
ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I thought your pause. I apologize. I step all over it. But we have your arch enemy, Paul Bettany.
My arch enemy.
He is the husband of the love of your life, Jennifer Connelly. We have, of course, the friend, and look at my extra S in texts. Text messages he's going to testify to, I'm guaranteeing.
Which is, there's people, that's been stories in the news individually. And we've gone over it, and their exchange. It goes, she's delightful company. I think we should do the English method and drown her before we burn her. Thoughts? And it goes on, and they hated each other. He and the succubus.
That's a good point, because he has said, "Oh, I've never really met her," but if they have a relationship where she hates him, they're already at that level. Then he's got to know some insight.
Article. Yes, he said in the last article I read, he's trying to backpedal away from it because he's Disney boy, and he's been in Solo, and he's Vision, for Christ's sake, in the Avengers films, and he's getting, his career is probably taken off to a level he didn't even anticipate. A lot of it based on his relationship with Depp. Depp put him in Mordecai and Transcendence and on and on and on. And they're really good friends. And he says in the thing, I don't know her well. I barely, when they were married. And you go, well, how do you hate each other if you don't know her well? And Depp testifies in the transcript we just read last episode, the 7-hour one, that they hated each other.
Yeah.
He says it, she says it, Depp says it, and now he's going to look like his credibility is somewhat shot, that he says, I don't know her. How do you hate someone and not know her?
He also says sarcastically, she's great company.
Right. Even in the text, it looks like he knows. Exactly right. I'm imagining.
Nice attempt with the distancing, but you're testifying now. All right, what do we got next here? Keenan Wyatt. He is a sound technician for Depp Films, and he was also on the plane where the alleged kick to the butt incident happened, where we have also discussed in our last UK testimony. She claims everything in between him picking up a bolted down chair. I think she forgot they were bolted down on planes.
I'm sorry, Sarah, you're on Keenan Wyatt?
Yes.
Okay.
He was on the plane. He can testify to what actually happened on that plane. That's also the incident where it's not really alleged. It did happen. We just don't know when it actually happened, where she provided the audio of him moaning in the bathroom.
Right.
You got anything on him?
No, only that don't discount his testimony. A lot of it too is how drugged up Depp is on these flights where they say he's sitting in a plane. I'm sitting in a limo or a big SUV, snorting lines, waiting for the plane to take off, and he's constantly inebriated. There's constant fights of him hiding in the bathroom and the mule kick where apparently the seat moved and Depp had this phenomenal pointer and you're not moving an airplane seat
Yeah, they're bolted
with a
down.
kick. They're
Yeah.
bolted down. So right there, it's a lie. I mean, right there, you
Mhm.
lose your credibility that
Well,
he
he says
moved the seat.
she was throwing a tantrum. We know, we've heard her throw tantrums. We have audio of it. But he says he went to tap her gently on the ass with his foot. She, of course, took that opportunity to say, "You kicked me," and blah blah blah. So, all right, we have Jack Wiggum, if I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
He has been his agent along with Carino for a long time. Jack left CAA and Johnny went with him. Again, probably just testifying more to the business side of all of this.
Yeah, I would like to hear more about. We don't know. He's not entering the Tracy Jacobs territory of longevity here. I don't know. I will say, his decisions with this agency have been less than stellar, and I
Mhm.
don't know what he's because apparently he owes Jacobs and UTA major money for films. I think it's to the tune of Jesus. What is it? 14 million
Yeah, 10
of back
10.
end percentages
Yeah,
they never got for stuff he did since
more money than I'll ever
2000.
see.
I know, it's crazy. I wonder where that stands right now.
Mhm. I mean, if I owed somebody $10 million, I'm not gonna live through the day. I'm gonna find a way to jump off a roof somewhere, or I'm
Imagine how
gonna
panicky you
vanish.
would be every day, minute of every day. You'd wake
Yeah.
up in a panic and just like
Yeah,
it. People commit suicide over stuff like
over
this.
less. Yeah.
But these guys have such access and such just like unaccountability that they're conditioning themselves like there's no consequences ever. It's
Mhm.
crazy.
Mhm. All right, we have Leonard Damian. So there was a lawsuit where some of Depp's
Did you
former
say Michael Damian?
no, I said Leonard Damian.
Your favorite soap opera actor?
No, some of Depp's former bodyguards were suing him for unsafe work environment. He probably settled that, I'm assuming, at some point. But Leonard Damian comes up online in that lawsuit. The bodyguards also spoke of an incident involving Leonard Damian, the head of Depp's security team. He accidentally shot himself in the leg while working with Sanchez, and the security guard claims he had to rush Damian to the hospital. So I'm assuming Leonard Damian is going to be testifying to witnessing incidences in the relationship and Amber
He
Heard's
he
anger, I'm
subpoenaed him
assuming.
or she did?
No, this is on Depp's witness list. So that's why
Okay,
I'm assuming
I
he's
thought you were jumping back and forth.
no. That's why I'm assuming Depp is going to have him testify to witnessing certain relationship incidences. This is only
Yeah,
Depp's witness
it's
list.
tough. I don't know. I mean, this guy could have a huge axe to grind with him.
Yeah,
He's
I don't.
putting him in. It's the the cocaine stuff, and they're like, "What are we getting?" And they sued him, and so to subpoena someone you're in a law embroiled in a lawsuit with
Hmm.
is kind of strange. Wouldn't you think he'd have an axe to grind
Well, I
with
don't know.
Depp
Is he suing?
himself?
Is Leonard Damian suing him? Is he one of the bodyguards that's suing
Yeah,
him?
it was one of the two body with the
Oh, okay.
cocaine stuff where
All right.
they were felt that they were in jeopardy, and
It's probably again one of those relationships he was forced to mend to get some testimony out of. So
Sanchez and Damien, my favorite buddy cop team.
so they probably had to settle this to move on to this new
That's a
hearing.
great point. That's a great point. He might have just settled it amicably and quickly, and it probably didn't
Hmm.
take much.
Yeah.
So now he's like, hey, I'll testify for you. Sure, I got what I wanted.
Yeah. All
I
right.
like
What
you
else?
more than I don't. I'll help you
Yeah.
out. That's a great point, Sarah.
All right. We have Robin
We don't know.
Baum.
We don't know what the resolution of it was. We just
No,
it was never.
I would
We were
assume.
never issued closure.
Why would you testify for somebody? Do them any
Y-
favors.
You're not. You're not.
All right. Robin Baum, she dated Depp in 2011. I found her name come up on one of
Yeah, that's a
those
weird
gossip
thing. Right. Right.
mhm, gossip websites. She dated Depp in 2011. She was Johnny's publicist. She's a candidate for this is their writing. It's not mine, but it's
So
not
there's
that
some
different.
weird in between period between the succubus and
Yeah.
the French albatross.
Well, we know because we've found out due to your sleuthing of he dated many women. even sometimes during his relationships.
And somehow
Okay.
it never got out,
Mm-hmm.
which, the gossip hounds are all over that shit. Somehow it never, I mean, again, like when you have 15 residences, you could duck them pretty
Mm-hmm.
easily.
Yep. All right. Again, dated Depp in 2011. She's Johnny's publicist, Robin Baum. She's a candidate for having an affair with him. Robin and Johnny spent a lot of time
It says
together.
candidate.
Yeah, it's their writing from this
No,
gossip
no, I
website.
know. It's a weird way to candidate.
It's like a Who's Dating Who website. So
Okay.
Robin and Johnny spent a lot of time together, obviously because of work, but the relationship seems to be getting much closer than just business. Robin is twice divorced and a mom, but she and Johnny really seem to have some kind of crazy connection that goes way beyond a professional level. They travel a lot together for work and get to spend a lot of time together, and they definitely have a total flirty vibe between them. I would put money on them having more than just a friendly relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm assuming she's his publicist officially. She's going to talk to the business side and maybe what kind of a person he is if they dated. Maybe this is the best they can get other than Winona Ryder as to who he is as a person.
Yeah. Yeah. It's probably a character witness kind of thing.
Yeah. All right. We have Andy
It
Mill.
says, I'm looking at her Twitter. It says, being a mom is not a full-time job,
Ugh.
but being Johnny Depp's mistress is a full-time job.
I was waiting for you to say I'm a mama bear. Oh, puke. Okay.
Again, as a publicist, it could be a million things they're asking her, but I think you're right. I want a straight up character witness.
Yeah. Andy Milner. He's an engineer for the Hollywood Vampires. And when I looked up their album credits, Jack Depp has a credit on the album as an
Oh
engineer.
no. Oh God.
So I don't
So
know.
so you're saying that's what his occupation is right now?
Jack Depp, the studio
Yeah, he's like
engineer.
like a fake roadie for them. He's kind of traveling around, and they're paying him just to
He
do
probably
whatever.
he probably recorded some voice soundtrack that they used like buried 10 layers deep behind the
Yeah.
main vocals, and this is how he gets a residual check for the album sales.
Does it really say audio engineer in
It
the?
does. It says engineer Jack Depp. He's one of like
You don't
10
know. I mean, that don't.
engineers.
It never surprises. Nepotism in Hollywood never surprises me. The lengths they'll go. If you just read any movie credit, any Depp movie credits, especially from when he got really big after Pirates, and just read the
Mhm.
credits, you'll just see name after name of family members and crowbarred titles onto. But it's not just him; it's all over Hollywood. You know how like when people have like create a resume and they
Mhm.
create these titles to look impressive and stuff, and someone's powerful enough, you could just elevate someone however you feel like, and just give them a. This is how the rich, this is how the Hollywood royalty can how they roll,
Mhm.
as they say.
Of course.
You could just create titles for your kids, your nephews, your relatives, whatever, and give them. This is what. Just anytime you get a chance, if you're bored, read the credits to any given movie and look, just kind of name poke in there and see some of the stuff titles they give these people. It's fascinating,
Mhm.
fascinating stuff. And we've wondered on here, like, Depp's kids are um what a fabulous life, and they've had and will continue to have and stuff. And Lily Rose has all these. She's just like she's sort of a mongoloid version of. You ever see the Conan O'Brien thing where they would merge two Hollywood faces and a weird mongoloid face would come up? And I'm not even. I'm not sure if I consider Lily Rose attractive. We're supposed to think she is because she's his daughter and he's using his name, and she's got this weird skeletal, almost Kate. It's almost like she's like Kate Moss, and she's like if Kate Moss, Depp, and Vanessa had a threesome.
She is very
That's
thin.
come on.
I
And they
think
love
she's
that
thinner than her
look.
mother ever was,
Right.
which
The
is
waif
worrisome.
model look is so she has this weird waif model career, which I'm not even sure what sells from that. and who's relating to being the daughter of Johnny Depp that you're buying stuff she's endorsing. And she's an actress, of course, and she's been in all these small, weird things that don't do very well. And she's worked with a ton of people by now. She's actually got that IMDb is building up. But I mean, these are movies you've never seen and probably will never see. I don't know where it's going. Can you imagine? She becomes a sought after actress in decent films, and he's exiled from Hollywood. How does that work?
Yeah, I know. What do you think Andy Milner is going to testify to? The only thing I can think of is he was probably around for the end of the relationship, because that's about when the vampire thing started.
Well, also too, maybe he's involved. Maybe he is the San Francisco thing. San Francisco.
Oh yeah, that could be.
Because he's touring with the vampires as to
Yeah,
why he's in San
yeah.
Francisco.
Good point.
I don't know. Could be anything.
Yeah,
It's
we'll
just my
find out.
guess.
Okay. Samantha McMillan, she's one of the bigger
By the way,
witnesses.
Sarah, before you get to Sam Mack, why are Depp's kids not testifying? Is that not
I don't
credible
know.
witnesses?
I don't know.
I mean, don't they know everything?
I have
Don't
no
they hear
idea.
arguments with them in the next room? And
I have
why are they
no
not
idea.
here? Oh, I don't know. I think that's weird.
He probably wants to keep them out of it.
Screw them.
We
Great
have
enough life.
Samantha McMillan. She's a stylist for Depp and Heard. In our video, little short video that I don't even know if you watched it, but about the island, she went on James Corden after an evening she claimed Depp brutally attacked her. Amber Heard made statements to Samantha McMillan that she had 2 black eyes and a busted nose. Samantha McMillan saw nothing on her face, no injuries, nothing. No swelling, nothing. So that's what she's going to testify to, I'm sure, and maybe a few more instances of the relationship. We'll see.
She's considered, in the profile I read, she's considered her friend and assistant.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know whose camp she's in.
I would say she's more in Depp's camp. If she's disputing the 2 black eyes and the facial injuries.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't want to get implicated. I mean, did she initially was his stylist and hair person as well, and then
I'm sure
he crowbarred her onto her, and she followed it to court. But if that right, it doesn't line up with the Corden thing, because then why would she even? It's such a weird saga, all of it.
Yeah, we'll get more. We're gonna see her on television soon.
She's on Instagram too, if you want to check that out.
I'm sure. All right, your buddy Adam Waldman. He is an attorney / friend for Depp. All you have to do to know Adam Waldman and what he is testifying to is Google image Adam Waldman tweets. So he has gone crazy on Amber Heard. He has since been blocked and banned for life from Twitter. He was tweeting basically statements disputing the evidence that she had presented. He made the mistake of making all this public and not just leaving it for the trial. So he was eventually thrown off the case, but he's now relegated to witness.
And he's not part of his dream team, but I'm sure he's in on the discussions they have with Chu and Zellner. We so badly want to hear him take the stand and dazzle us with his legalese skills. You know who he reminds me of? You watched Daredevil, right? Did you watch it on Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
You know the guy who played Daredevil, Charlie Cox, Matt Murdock? He looks exactly like...
Agreed, he does.
Adam Waldman. I mean, and he wears the same sunglasses too, which is, you'd think he's blind. If ever they do a movie on this, Charlie Cox is born to play Adam Waldman. And by the way, Depp would have made a great Matt Murdock in the 90s, some of the 2000s. I always thought he's the right physique, and he would have been a great Daredevil if times were different.
So we have, maybe the one I want to hear the most from is Trinity Esparza. She is a concierge for the Eastern Columbia building / desk duties.
She's working the desk, right?
Yeah, she was present for a daily viewing of Amber Heard after the phone to the face incident. She saw no bruises, She is also going to testify to the Elon Musk visits and the James Franco visits late at night from 11 to 1 p.m. every night. I'm sure she's going to testify to both of them visiting while Johnny Depp was away filming a movie. She saw no bruises, no marks, nothing on Amber Heard, who wore no makeup, blah, blah, blah. We'll hear that a lot. But she is going to testify to seeing a new mark on the neck of Amber Heard after an Elon Musk visit. So use your imagination as to what that mark on the neck is from, and what they were doing when that mark was made. And I've heard things about him too. This is rumor. He's really into putting a hand on a neck during an act of love.
Who'd you hear that from?
I don't know. I've heard that like years ago, probably around the time that this information first started coming out, but that he was
What do they call
involved.
it? Asphyxiation.
Yeah,
That's
sexual, whatever.
stupid.
I know. I don't get it. Have fun. Just don't kill somebody.
No, don't have. I don't want him to have fun. No, don't have fun.
He has enough fun in his life.
I'm not on board with that. No, don't have fun. She's the broad you had to get past when you infiltrated the Eastern Columbian building, right?
I know. I
At
made
the
it up
desk.
halfway to the penthouse before the elevator. They found me
You
out.
were
and
so
they
convincing
turned the elevator
as
around.
Tracy Jacobs. She let you up.
I think Tracy Jacobs was banned from that building a long time ago.
I wonder if they do have a ban list.
Oh, I'm sure you
right?
have to.
I bet you Tracy Jacobs is there all the time, and then
That's
one
why
day
there's
they go,
somebody
"She's
on desk
banned."
duty to
Yes.
accept UPS packages and check the list.
We have the videos of her, right? Like scurrying over packages in the
Yeah.
there's like a supply room or something,
Yeah.
and she's
Yeah, she goes to get a package and takes one and leaves 10 of them. So the guy's like, "Okay, thanks."
she
But
probably is
she's
the most annoying tenant they've ever had in the history of that building, with
yeah.
all the drama that's brought with her and her bullshit.
Oh God. And another thing she's probably going to testify to is the security footage. And apparently Depp is going to be presenting. We don't know what they include yet. We'll find out soon. He's going to be presenting like hundreds of examples of security footage from the building. So I'm assuming her with no injuries,
Can't wait. I can't
all
wait.
these late night visits. Okay, next one. We're almost done. Oh God,
No.
Kate James. Okay. This whole page is about Kate James. I feel bad for Kate James. All right, Kate James was an assistant to Amber Heard and took a lot of crap from Amber Heard, no pun intended. Okay, Miss Heard, this is Kate James talking in the last trial. Miss Heard referred to a conversation we had about me being violently raped at Machete Point in Brazil, and she used it as her own story. So what that makes me think, Amber Heard, we know, is now saying Johnny Depp raped her. So is the details of that, is she saying he did it at knife point? I don't know. She referred directly to a violent rape that occurred to me 26 years ago, and she twisted it into her own story, and she used it for her own use. James also alleged that Heard would send a barrage of drunk text messages between the hours of 2 and 4 in the morning on a regular basis, on an almost daily basis. She described the messages as abusive. James was asked about an incident that is said to have occurred in May 2014 on a private jet traveling from Boston to LA when Depp allegedly kicked Heard in the back. Wass, who cross-examined her, read a text sent by Heard to James after the alleged incident, which read, "I have to leave, JD. He just freaked out on me. He's drinking again. It's bad, worse than ever." And we did talk about that. Wass asked if James remembered the message, to which she replied, "Yes, I remember the day very clearly. Trust me." Wass said Heard returned to LA and stayed in a hotel, to which James said, "I don't know why, because she had an apartment. So why would she stay in a
Yeah.
hotel?" That apartment was still fully functioning and livable. James also added later on, "She went to the Chateau, the hotel, with 4 of her friends, and they basically had a pool party, drinking and swimming and sunbathing and having fun." So after that incident of total abuse and humiliation, she just went and partied. You got
I
anything
know,
on
but
Kate
she's
James?
if you ever get a chance, if you're bored at work tomorrow, read her testimony from the UK trial.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of, I think she's a mom, and I think
Mm-hmm.
she had some blowouts with her. There's some really good stuff. She's, we'll hear what a nightmare the succubus is through her. she turns on her pretty mightily in the testimony,
Hmm.
and she backs up most of what I think it's a really underrated witness.
I feel bad for her, especially
Yeah,
if
you do.
because we've had the theory that Amber Heard uses stories from other people and things that she's witnessed to embellish these incidences that she was able to quote unquote prove against Depp in the UK trial. So if she's using this woman's rape story from 26 years ago, that tells you who you're dealing with.
This is the exchange where she's saying she had to pick her kids up, or she had to do a motherly duties, and Amber Heard couldn't understand it and relate to it, and there was like a dust up over that. That
Hmm.
she wanted to work from home at a certain point. I don't know. It's I'm trying to remember the testimony.
Hmm.
Um, but that's a good read tomorrow if you have time.
Yeah. We have Debbie Rassel. You know, is that am I pronouncing that
Yes,
right?
that's his sister.
Yeah, that's
That's
his
the
sister.
guy. Her son, is the guy who Depp gave a loan out for the house in Kentucky
Hmm.
to the tune of like 200 grand.
So they lived on the Kentucky ranch up until
Yes.
the death of Betty Sue, and then he asked them to leave after Betty Sue died because he suspected that things were going on there in terms of money
Yeah.
that shouldn't be. So he had them move out, and he sold the Kentucky ranch.
I think she's the older sister.
Hmm. I
And
saw a picture.
his
I looked at a picture of her. She looks nothing like him. She's
she's like a
blonde, which
lesbian, right?
I don't know. She's blonde. I think she's married, but she's blonde, blue eyes. Looks nothing like him. I didn't
She
even think I was looking at the right person.
she looks like Betty Sue in her older stages, and his sister Christy looks like Pat Benatar
Hmm.
now.
Yeah.
And when
So,
she was young. I saw a picture of when she was young. She
hmm
reminds me of Pat Benatar.
so we move into his. I don't know what she's going to testify to. Maybe just relationship stuff that she witnessed or heard about.
His
Um,
sister, everything, any and everything.
I don't know if they weren't close. I don't know what she's going to testify to, but we'll
But
see.
like you said with the other one, this is her perfect opportunity to patch it up.
Hmm.
If you're Depp, right, you go, look, anything we have financially, forget about it. Just do the right
Yeah,
thing at this
exactly.
trial. Wouldn't you say that? I
Hmm.
would. He's
So,
never gonna be broke. There's no he doesn't no matter how much he lost in with his managers and stuff. A guy like that, there's no broke. There's no bottom with him.
hmm
Tomorrow we could snap his fingers and do 5 Japanese beer commercials and have more than all our families combined listening to this in 10 lifetimes.
yeah.
There's no feeling sorry for him in finance. It's just not. He can get out of it with a snap of a finger, no
hmm
matter if Disney or Warner Brothers is in his camp or not.
So he's got a list of experts. The first one is Shannon J. Curry. She is I'm just a clinical psychologist.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure
yeah.
it's obvious what she's going to testify to. Probably give a diagnosis on both.
I think it's a
Um,
fascinating diagnosis. I can't wait to hear it. I
hmm
think there's a lot going on there. There's a bunch of histrionic personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, borderline personality disorder. With him, he's bipolar, he's schizophrenic. I think there's a bunch of hyper anxiety disorders, all sorts of stuff.
hmm
I mean, I think if ever, I think that's another underrated witness. I can't wait to see what she. Do we need even her? Any armchair psychologist can diagnose them without her. I
hmm
know I can.
What do you want to? What do you want to bet the word schizophrenia comes up?
For
I
both of them
am.
or just her?
I think just one of them.
There's no
We'll see.
question. There's no
Yeah,
question. Schizophrenia, it seems like you could slap that onto anybody and have it stick.
mm, possibly. I don't know anything about it. Richard
Yeah, right.
Gilbert.
Sure you don't.
I don't. I probably am. I don't know. Richard S. Gilbert. He's an MD. Um, Probably just maybe same thing ish, but maybe he's going to testify more to Depp and his prescriptions.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dick Gilbert and I go back when I slammed the
Dick-ass.
car door in my hand in the late '90s.
Is that how
I'm
you lost
double
the tip of your
jointed.
finger?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I have a scar still to prove it to this day.
Yeah,
Dick Gilbert's a good man.
good.
Yeah.
Glad you can speak to him. Okay, we have not the Richard Marx, but we have Richard Marx. He
I
is
know.
a
How do you not think that when you
I
see
know.
that?
He is a business and he is business and legal affairs for Disney. Self-explanatory. He's going to probably talk about I don't even know if he's still with Disney. So he's probably going to talk about what was lost for Depp. Goes more toward the amount of money that Depp is suing for and why
Yeah.
that is valid.
Should
So,
have known better
hmm
than to fall in love with Depp.
he's such an
Now
a-hole.
love is just a faded memory. Now Disney's just a faded memory.
hmm
Should have known better.
Yep, we get
And I'm
it. we, I talked to him on the phone once. Oh my God, asshole.
I know. Can you sing?
No. We have Michael Spindler. Here we go. He is a CPA, a CFE, a CFF, and an ABV, and a CAMS. Great. He is forensic accounting and litigation support. Money. That's what I know about that. And that's it. He's going to testify why they came to the figure they did. Should be more. Oh, and maybe it should be more. That's what he's going to testify to.
A walking acronym.
Yeah.
If there ever was one. I hope they read all these acronyms and watch people roll their
Oh, they're
eyes.
going to have to because
CPA, and SFE, and SFF, and
any witness you
ABV.
put on the stand, you have to explain in boring detail why they are qualified to make this testimony.
We got it, Spindler. You're good with money. We got it.
Yep. What do we got next? Okay,
The no,
Doug
the no
Banya.
spin zone.
He is a
Banya.
defamation. He is an expert in defamation damages. Again, money. Okay, Brian Newmeister. Oh, this is great. I can't wait for this
Well,
testimony.
he's evaluating the damages.
Yes.
I guess through,
They're going
and
to give
he's
a
going to
breakdown.
verify that they're all valid. I'm actually
Yeah.
looking forward to that extensive list. I think there's more
A
to it
detailed,
than.
an overly detailed explanation as to why this is what he is owed, and he is owed more, in fact.
Do you think he's owning an Armani suit or a soup and salad at a coffee shop,
I
like
don't
Kenny
know.
Banya?
I don't
Okay.
know. Brian Newmeister, this is what I'm looking forward to the most. He is a technical forensics expert. He is there to acquire and examine potential evidence during an investigation, including data that's been deleted, encrypted, or damaged. Any steps taken during this process are documented, and methodologies are used to prevent the evidence from being altered, corrupted, and destroyed. He is going to tell you about the photos that she has submitted into evidence, and they really weren't taken at the time she says they were.
You know how they have like puck bunnies in hockey? There's like groupies,
hmm
or what's the one, the lounge hotel?
Lobby
What's the
lizards.
NBA lobby lizards? Right. You're a forensics fox. You
You know
love
what I
all
want?
things
You know what
forensic.
I want to see happen? I think we would know if it was going to happen by this stage. I want him to get up on the stand and say, all of this data was changed by Elon Musk.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
traced it back to Elon Musk's email address or his IP
It's
address.
pretty crazy, you know. I mean, you would think Elon Musk would be more skilled at this than he would. I mean, that you have,
Oh, he's got people to be skilled at this.
and yeah, if you want anybody doctoring emails or anything internet, well, it's the mollusk.
hmm
So it's so crazy he's on board with this. It
Yeah.
makes it even. It's the most insane trial in the history of mankind. Forget Hollywood. This is just there's so many things going on here. It's crazy. It is crazy. And if it's a
hmm
slow news week, which it may be, if the Ukraine stuff wraps up, this could get way more attention than any of the UK stuff got. And
Yeah,
it's
I don't know.
televised with a pool camera, as it
We'll
were.
see. I know you won't be leaving the television for like
Either will
10
you.
days. I got to work. I'm going to be at work, and I'm
Yeah.
expecting you to
That,
send me text messages. Okay, what do we
I'm going to be
got
jerking off
next?
to it, pausing.
Oh, that's so gross. Just send me pictures. Okay, so we have Dr. Richard Shaw. He practices marriage and family therapy part-time with individuals, couples, and families in the areas of depression, anxiety, and marital issues. That's what he's going to testify about. I don't know if they used him at some point, maybe for counseling.
Dick Shaw? I
Yeah,
don't.
a lot of dicks in this witness list.
If he could have been part of the couples counseling.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. If he's one of the couple counselor
I
where
don't
they're
know.
submitting the audio to, if
Why am
that's the guy,
I recalling it was a woman? I don't know. This
it could
rich
be a
people,
couple people.
I know rich people have multiple therapists.
Yeah, of
So,
everything.
all right, we have either Raquel or Rachel Frost. Rachel Frost is a 20-year retired law enforcement veteran from Southern California and chief executive officer for Frost ICE/investigation, consultation, education, and development, a full-service violence recognition and response firm. I don't know. If she is she one of the officers that responded?
Yeah, I think she's going to go over the abuse,
Okay, all right.
the pattern of abuse and who makes it up and when she knows they're faking it and what probably compare it to things she's had over the years of people making stuff up with
Mm-hmm.
false allegations and ambulance chasing and calling the cops on it and probably this gaggle of false allegations that she's probably accrued over the year when she could spot it, how she could spot it. If the succubus is a classic case of this.
Mm-hmm. Is she one of the officers that responded though
I
to
thought
the
I remember
penthouse?
her name in that too.
I've seen her
Yeah,
name before.
I
We'll
did
go with
too.
yes. I'll be corrected in the
Um,
comments.
yeah, but
Okay.
it's nevertheless. I mean, they're using her. There has to be. She's on the scene. I don't know if they
Mm-hmm.
just want her expert opinion. I think she was actually there.
Could be yeah, it could be either. So that's what I've got. Do you have names apparently that I don't have?
Well, did
Now
you go
are
over?
these Depp's witnesses or are they Amber Heard's witnesses?
You covered those. You got You nailed that. You got that. Well, UK witnesses currently not listed for the US. You got all the ones that. So they have Winona Ryder.
We're talking about the Fairfax trial.
I'm talking about it too. That she
Okay.
could be pulled into this as this goes
Okay.
on. I'm just going to
No,
potential.
I think this list is the final list of witnesses.
Is it finalized or they can
Uh,
still add to it?
They submitted it to the court, so I'm assuming it's final.
I thought they can do amendments on
I
it
don't know. We'll
and
find out.
add to it. I don't know. Maybe you're right. So I'm just going to go over some of the names here. Winona Ryder, Vanessa Paradis, Officer Tyler Haddon, Officer Melissa Sands, Catherine Kendall, Hilda Vargas, who is the housekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
How is she not in this? That's the bed.
Yeah.
Cornelius Harrell, Montrez Harrell,
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Patterson, Alejandro Ramiro. Let's just stay on the obvious ones. Winona Ryder, if you don't, it was brought to my attention. I found this myself a little bit after the fact, and again the toxic positivity, and we're all Deppheads. We won't report anything remotely negative. Winona Ryder was not used by him as a full-blown witness in the UK trial because she has a quote where she talks about a volatile partner when she was barely legal. So we all know she dated Depp from 17 to for 3 years in her late teens.
Could be
So there's a
Christian
quote
Slater
from
too.
her where she's describing a volatile ex-partner of hers
Mm-hmm.
and flip outs he would have. So they said, you know what? We're just going to have a general statement by her. If she will be cross-examined, this is going to come up that he had a volatility about him when they were dating. And she was barely legal. And they're going to say, well, she's 17. And you think it might be technically legal, but I think it's a little weird. You're 26 going after a 17-year-old. You know what I mean? Like, it's just creepy when you frame it like that in a courtroom. and I'm sure they'll use anything they can get against her. And apparently, there is some major quote where she's interviewed. I think it was like Vogue or one of the broad magazines, and she talks about having a volatile partner, and it's exactly the timeline she was with Depp. And so they didn't want to use her as a full blown. And Vanessa, again, they're afraid to use her. I don't know if they're going to go into the Lily Rose statutory rape living arrangement, or there's just things they just don't the French albatross. They don't want to go down that road. So they just that's why they didn't use them as full blown witnesses. They wouldn't acknowledge why. Winona Ryder, we know why. With Vanessa, I'm assuming that's why.
No, I agree. I've said it 1,000 times. She's going to throw everything she's got at him, even if it
Why they're
has
not using
nothing to
Hilda
do with it.
Vargas, I have no idea.
I don't know. Like you said, it could be somebody added later on. I don't know, but I think we would know by now because it's coming up very soon.
Okay. That's all I got. The other ones are kind of obscure. I want to go back into their histories to equate it to what's pertinent to this. They're choosing either not to use them or. By the way, I don't know a ton about. I'm like everybody else. I have these pockets of knowledge, and I'm not a lawyer. I don't work in the. Can you turn down if you're subpoenaed as a witness? Can you just say, "Nah, it's okay. No thanks." You have to
No,
go.
I think you do. I've
You
never been
have to go.
subpoenaed, thank God. But I think you have to go.
Does it depend on the state?
I don't think so. I think a subpoena is a subpoena.
Yeah, all right. I mean, I just wondered if
I
you
think
can
you
go,
can
no, no, no
probably
thanks.
ask to
Get out
do
of it.
it by video, maybe, but I think
Yeah,
you gotta give testimony.
you have to.
I think so. I've never been
Okay.
subpoenaed.
I just think it's weird. Um, well, how about do you find it weird? And I would have thought he was going to be the star witness as far as what he's capable of doing in front of an audience. That Doug Stanhope's not in there.
I don't know. He's not.
I read you he had the open letter to start all this off,
Who
calling
knows
her a
if it's?
liar and
There's
saying
also an
why. And
exhibit list. These statements from Winona and Vanessa could be on an exhibit list. I don't know. It could be a statement from Doug Stanhope too.
I would think he'd be a witness.
I don't know.
A star witness at that. I think he was with Bettany during. I think he heard. I mean, I read you his
I
open
know. I've
letter.
read it.
It's
I
all
read
in there.
it.
It's better than anybody is strong. And he did it at a time when it was ballsy, when nobody was defending him. Everything was against him,
Oh,
and he didn't care what the consequences were.
You'll find out with your nose 2 inches from the television whether that's going to happen or not.
Was that a schnozzle? Is that an Italian schnozola insult?
No, you don't have a large nose. I do. That's why it's covered in my avatar.
I do too.
No, you don't. Whatever. Okay.
I got it.
Let's
I
wrap
make
it up.
John Turturro look like.
Such a liar.
So we have some comments here. I plucked this from. I don't know. It's directed to both of us, I guess. Lindsay Depp. This is from one of the Tracy Jacobs videos. Writes, my beautiful husband Johnny is no villain, and I guess they're directing like we did something. No, he's not a villain.
Well, I don't know if this is because we mentioned maybe that he would be good playing a villain. So I don't know.
I don't remember saying that. He certainly would. He's played a villain before. Whitey Bulger is a villain. George Young is a villain. You can't root against him. So somehow he's unearthly charisma. You end up rooting for him, and when he's playing a stone cold killer or a drug runner, and it's something you could teach at no acting school. But what she might be referring to in the Tracy Jacobs transcript is the statutory rape living arrangement with Lily Rose.
That's a good
and
point.
At 15, 14, living with a 23, 24-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Or the drug muling with Deuters or Nathan Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
Or
could
God
be a few
knows
things.
What. Could be a few things.
Sorry,
These
we
are
talk
things
about
that
it
are
all.
felonious.
Everything. Yeah.
We don't it's not, as MVDV said, it's toxic positivity, where the whole mission statement of this podcast was to full transparency of the good, the bad, the great, and the ugly. And
Mhm.
we're acknowledging to read that we're not going to sugarcoat the stuff that can reflect negative on them. It's stupid not to. You're going to hear it in the trial. We're showing you what's up against. I wish it weren't true, but apparently, according to Tracy Jacobs, it is allegedly in her transcript. So we're
Mhm.
acknowledging we didn't do it. We're reading what Tracy Jacobs claims he did.
And
That's
this,
felonious.
we've never been dishonest with anything about this show. And I'm not even saying this
That's
to
got to be what
Lindsay.
she's referring to.
Maybe. But even in like the first few videos we put out last summer, we gave you a warning. So everything was going to be honest.
Many times, too many times,
There's a warning in front of every episode.
that
So
we're not going to
did my
sugarcoat
part.
his transgressions and some of the stuff that, and I hate some of his film choices in the last 8 years. I scream about that every time. Every time. There's, see, this is why the Tracy Jacobs deposition is never acknowledged. People don't want to, because he looks bad in a lot of different situations.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't do this. We didn't report. She did. He did. She's reporting what he knows about him, and we're reading it verbatim off a court stenographer transcript, and we're commenting on it. I don't. I wish these things didn't exist, but they do. We didn't do it. So don't act like, where it's like, sort of, don't shoot the messenger, I suppose, but choose your battles with what you defend. That's certainly not one of them. And I don't know who the hell would defend statutory rape, letting your daughter live with a 23-year-old, which he did.
Mm-hmm.
It was verified.
Mm-hmm.
On his own
He may
compound.
not have been happy about it, but it still happened. So, yeah, well.
And he admits to the drug muling and everything. So
thanks for listening, Lindsay.
No, don't stop listening. I'm just saying you're going to get full honesty. I'm not sugarcoating his bad side or what you perceive as his bad side.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't do it. We're reading, we're from his people. You don't know him better than Tracy Jacobs does. I hate to break it to you. Read all the biographies you want. Get on every Twitter thread you want, and go into all these discussion groups. You don't know him better than his agent does.
Mm-hmm.
Who's been with him since 1988.
As much as you want him to be perfect, he's not a perfect person. Nobody is. And if you're going to do a show about the man, it's a disservice to the man to only sugarcoat him and not, discuss every aspect of his life. I've said that way too many times, and I'm done saying it. That's why we put a
His
warning in
positives
the beginning
far
of every
outweigh his
video.
negatives.
Absolutely.
If it makes you feel any better, his positives far outweigh his negatives. He is angelic in many, many ways. Just letting your daughter live with a 23, 14 is not one of them.
Yeah.
And a few other things. But again, if everybody were like him in Hollywood, it'd be a great place. But they're not. He is a unicorn. Certainly, indeed, his positives far outweigh negatives. He's a phenomenal guy, and to be as down to earth and as level headed he is with fans and people he meets on sets and treating everybody as equals, it's inhuman to act like that. But he does not come without his peccadillos, and we're reporting on them.
Good job. Okay. Do you want me to read the comments from the last video? I have them in front of me.
Sure.
There's a lot. Well, 10 for us. Okay. First one is from Hooper45. 7 hours. WTF? Perfect kudos. Had rotator cuff surgery yesterday. I'm all pilled up, battling pain. Nothing better to listen to through sleepless nights. Well done. I'm supposed to have that surgery on both shoulders someday.
What's holding you back?
Recovery time, and
Do you get
I just
time
don't want
off
to.
from work?
Yeah, but you don't get paid the same. You don't get paid 100%.
Oh, no?
No, and it's months of recovery time.
Oh my God.
So good luck, Hooper. Hope you're feeling better
Yeah,
and you got some good
good
stuff to
luck,
take.
Hoops. Keep us updated on that. Sounds like a Randy Johnson surgery. Too many 98-mile-per-hour fastballs with your
It's
left
worth it
hand without
if you feel better. It's
pitch
worth it, I
count.
guess.
It sounds
We
like a
have.
guy who wasn't on a pitch count, doesn't it? He Hooper's a great friend of Radio Gunk in this show. And there's no better compliment than to have this show accompany you to those, whether you're working outside or falling asleep to it or having it in the background. There's no better. Believe me, nobody does that shit more than I do.
Yeah,
Podcasts and God knows
probably
what in the
me.
background. Yeah, I
I
have
listen to old Opie and
playlists.
Anthony to fall asleep
Yeah,
too.
drives you take. It's a 7. I mean, it's a flight from Boston to Hawaii or something. The last episode.
Oh my
You could
God,
keep
yeah.
that on that's the ultimate a plane ride with that. But thank you, Hooper.
Yeah, thank you. All right, we have Exotic, the founder of the Skull Ring review system. Hi guys, I'm loving these long shows. They get me through the day. I have 2 questions. First one for Sarah. I didn't even see this. Okay, F Mary Kill. Oh God. Nikki Six, Axl Rose, John Bon Jovi.
What?
Okay, let me answer that because the next question is for you. Okay, first of all, I find Axl Rose and John Bon Jovi disgusting, and I need to kill both. So, oh God, I think I have to, and I don't want to do this because I've read the dirt and I know what he's done without a condom on. Nikki Six for F and Mary. Oh God. Okay. Next question is for you. In Donnie
But
Brass,
John Bon Jovi's a way better
he's
husband
he's gross. I don't
than all
care.
3 of them. Well, and
I'm
despite how corny and cheesy Bon Jovi's music is and overrated, he's a great guy. I mean, he's a charitable guy. He's a family man for years and years and years. If there's one guy you marry, it's easily him, isn't it?
Oh, is that? But is
Nice
he
guy,
also the guy that?
apparently.
Is he also your choice for F?
No, I'm gonna F Axl Rose because
Ugh.
I'm just kidding.
But you do have a question here.
I want to ask him Depp questions about the Sunset Strip with Pillow Talk in the early '80s
Gross. He
when
has a
the
Superman
kids.
tattoo.
That Depp was part of. There's a whole circle jerk with Guns N' Roses and the Rock City Angels and L.A. Guns and David Geffen and that whole early L.A. rock scene in the '80s. So I ask him questions about that.
So I have to. I'm going to back this up. If I think about it more, Axl Rose has a history of being violent with women, so that is an automatic kill. And John Bon Jovi has a Superman tattoo. That is an automatic kill. So
It
my
was
answer stays
original
the
at the
same.
time when he had the Superman
No.
tattoo. It was original, like Shaquille O'Neal esque
Ugh.
at the time. I mean, it was like when nobody talked about comic books. Like a Superman reference is a really, really deep dive, in the '80s to make a Superman reference, or God forbid a Spider-Man. Now we fucking Guardians of the Galaxy and Peacemaker and Moon Knight has a series. It's crazy how deep into the comic lore we are. But that was. I don't love his music is cheesy and overrated, and they're just. But he seems like a really good guy compared to what you could have. Happily married, does a ton of charity work. That's who you marry. It's not even close.
Yeah, I'll let you marry him then. It's
And
legal.
for the sake of Bon Jovial, for Christ's sake, you got to choose him.
All right. Okay, the second question is for John. In Donnie Brasco, perk your ears up. Did Lefty get whacked in? Did Lefty get whacked in real life?
Exotic. There are good questions and great questions. That's a great question. That is a phenomenal question. I happen to be a Pistonophile. So not through the Donnie Brasco film. I love all things Joe Pistone from this movie. Anytime I see the real Joe Pistone, I stop and I listen, and I don't care if it's said it all before. And sometimes you mine new stuff out of it. And I'm obsessed with Joseph D. Pistone through the movie. But Sarah, you read the book, right?
I'm halfway through and I abandoned it. Not on purpose, it just happened.
Because of the book is phenomenal, and I'm not always going. It's the pedantic will always go. The book is always better than the movie. Try to look smart. Yeah, I mean, in this case, when you read the book, you start to say things like, where is Tony Mira in the movie? Tony Mira is as big a role as Lefty has in the book. Tony Mira is one of the guys, Joe Pistone, real volatile asshole, psychotic, sociopathic mafioso, which sounds redundant, but this guy was really, really bad news. He would kill you if you looked at him wrong. Probably had the most murders under his belt, and he was part of the crew. And they didn't portray him in the movie, and I don't know why. I don't know if they were threatened legally or not. He is as big as Sonny or Lefty. So that's the stuff in the book you get out of it. And there's just tons of weird, the setup. Joe Pistone's kind of a minimalist speaking in the movie, and you get into his head in the book of what he's going through, really, really going through, and it gives you the details and the addresses and where stuff is. We're going to be doing the 25th anniversary of Donnie Brasco is upon us. We're going to be doing a special episode with that. Hopefully, we could bring in Monique from Radio Gunk in, who lived next door to Sonny Black Napolitano in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. Off Graham and Withers, the social club they have over there, which is the Motion Lounge. And so with that, he asked me specifically about Lefty. I can go on and on about this movie. So did Lefty get whacked in real life? Exotic, again, phenomenal question. And this is a Joe Pistone researched answer in all the interviews I listened to him. So what really happened here, and this is one of the very few problems I have with the movie, and I don't know what the point of this conflation was. They conflated Sonny and Lefty with this. So in the scenario in the movie, you see Al Pacino, Lefty, Ben Ruggiero get up, and he goes to Annette, who's a classic old Italian broad, who's just like a rider, as my black friends, a ride or die kind of bitch, who just is with him in every single way, and she has his back all the time, and she covers for him. I think that he had two places he was living in the movie, and it's tough to tell entirely. In the beginning of the movie, Donnie drops him off at what appears to be a courtyard of a housing project. And Lefty lived downtown in Lower East Side in this place called the Knickerbocker Village, which was like kind of a glorified housing project. But I think his girlfriend Annette was living on Mulberry Street, where a lot of that's taking place in that apartment with his son. And you remember that scene. And so at the end of Donnie Brasco, he gets up and he puts a suit on. He takes all his jewelry off, his wallet. He puts it into this drawer, but he holds the drawer open so Annette sees the drawer open. Whatever valuables he has, he throws it in this thing. And after the case is exposed and Brasco gets out, and they know the evidence that Donnie has accrued over this 6 years. And Pacino, Lefty, goes to the door. It's a very sad scene. There's no musical score played during the scene, and everyone just assumes, oh, Lefty's getting whacked. And cut to black, and Joe Pistone's at a shooting range for the FBI, shooting at a target and everything, and the movie's just about to end. So what really happened is Lefty gets up to go to a mob sit down where he's going to get whacked. He doesn't. On his way to the meeting, the FBI picks him off on the way to the meeting and arrests him. And he dies in jail from cancer.
Yeah.
It does not happen. He does not get. Everybody thinks he gets whacked. What really happens is Sonny Black is the guy that goes to the meeting, and he does, in fact, get whacked. And they throw him into, I think, the East River or the Hudson. And his body was found, whatever, weeks later. But it's Sonny. They conflated the two things. That's actually what happens to Sonny, not Lefty, in the book, in real life, as per Donnie Brasco himself, Joseph D. Pistone.
Nice. Well, not really. He died, but
but I believe that Donnie Brasco, and we know so much about it, but it really could be like a modern day mini series again on an HBO or a Netflix or something where it's sprawling. There's too much to it to just fit into one movie. Could have easily been 2 parts too.
Yeah.
Should have been.
I watched
3 parts. Give David a trilogy thing.
I watched the director's cut you sent me. I can't imagine taking out anything from the director's cut.
There was one
So,
weird scene where they're in a hotel room and they play a prank on Lefty where they leave his air conditioning on in his room. It's a weird scene.
hmm
It's kind of awkward.
it's
But
not.
what's important about that scene is I think it shows Joe leaving and he runs into Nikki, who's played by Bruno Kirby, who's actually passed away, and they spot each other, and they think each one. I think Nikki thinks Donnie knows he's committing a drug deal without the knowledge of the other. They what do they call it? Under the table. But you have to report everything with the mob. You have to get up to the bosses where it's all into one pile. And these guys do these silent deals without telling the boss, and that's a big whacking no apparently.
hmm
And they catch each other's eyes, but he doesn't know he's an agent yet. Donnie's coming out of the surveillance room with Paul Giamatti,
hmm
where they do the famous forget about it scene, and they
Yeah.
catch eyes and they think they don't know what they're up to. So that's an underrated little scene. I'm trying to think of another good in the just a lot of good subtle things. You're right. I look at that and I say I would never have cut this at all. I like the scene where they're they're having like a bullshit conversation and Joe is suffocating and then she's tired of the job and he's just like staring into space going, when is this going to end? I can't do this anymore. They're at like a diner or something and they're arguing over something. I think Bruno Kirby's arguing with James Russo or Pacino, and Brasco's losing it. He's like staring into space and he's going, when the hell is this going to end? I can't do this anymore. And then he goes back to his apartment on the Upper East Side and just destroys the place, which is a great look at Depp in a rage. It's a great way to show you what an angry Depp, what he's capable of destroying a hotel room,
hmm
like the Mark, and it destroys his room with a baseball bat.
Like a house in Australia.
Yeah,
Uh,
just like that.
yeah. I mean, those two tempers collide. Anyway. Um, where are we at here? Okay. This is from A. Smith, and A. Smith, I need to check in with you on something before our next episode. So, you guys bring up so many things from songs to movies and etc. that it reminds me of them, and I have to experience them again. I only watch the episodes that you guys pepper into the Deppcast. I mean, I watched them on TV growing up, so I watched them for the nostalgia. Also, there's an episode of The Twilight Zone where a family moves to Evergreen, and Twilight Zone stuff. And then he adds on to that. It was the stolen Porsche episode. I'm watching America, What a Town Now. Is Miss Sarah
Oh, okay.
is Miss Sarah going to watch Fear and Loathing this weekend? Meaning this weekend, which is almost over for me. And I was going to watch Fear and Loathing, but I don't think he saw my text because I wanted you to send me the movie legally. Um, and I forgot all about it to remind you. So thank you, A. Smith. Um, he is our Valhalla video game warrior who listens to us while he plays Valhalla for hours.
What skull ring rating are we going to give America What a Town?
Um, 2. It's not one of my
So
favorites.
he's on season 1. Uh America What a Town is one of the earlier episodes. It's with the Polish broad who is a exchange student, and Holly Robinson has to follow her around school. And then they hook Aoki up with her. Depp and Deloise, Hanson and Penhall are going after a stolen ATM case where
Mhm.
what happens? These two kids stumble onto an ATM machine robbery and they take the money and go on a spending spree. It's kind of a silly plot.
Yeah. It's not
Um,
my favorite.
it's not my favorite episode either. It's earlier on. It's early on. Frederick Forrest is still the captain. Captain Jenko is in it. It's kind of like the A B story and the B story. And if in the original copy that I have, Simply Red is on the soundtrack.
Mhm.
They're 80s hits, and
Yeah.
they play them in a. That's
Instead of the
the
mall
I remember
music
vividly.
that they
Right,
overdubbed.
instead of the mall, right. Um, how many skull rings would I give that episode out of 10? So he's gonna do it out of 10.
I thought 5,
Uh,
but whatever. We haven't made the rules yet.
I'll give it 4.
Out of 10?
Yeah, I don't think it's a strong episode. They get away from high school with
Mhm.
Hanson and Penn Hall. It's slightly goofy already. It's kind of played for comedy a little bit. The case with the kids that they're investigating is not very serious. It's like they just found money and they're following them around. It's like a slap on the wrist, literally.
Mhm. So, let me see. Oh my god. Fear and Loathing, ugh, I'm going to, I swear to God. I say that every episode, but I will.
But he mentions Evergreen.
Yeah, I know. Evergreen
So
State.
we should say that it's a 21 Jump Street reference to 21 Jump Street will not acknowledge its setting, which annoyed me then. It annoys me now, and I can't wait to get Patrick Hasberg on to rationalize this. They won't say where they are, and they reference other cities. You'll hear, "Oh, I'm from Chicago," or "I'm a Cubs fan," or "I'm from
Mhm.
back east," or "This is something I did in California." And they're going, "Okay, well then where are you now?" Because
Yeah.
you're just going, it just doesn't make sense, and they just simply will not acknowledge. Didn't you say that there's an actual Evergreen in Washington State,
Yeah. So,
which would almost be like a good backdrop for the show?
that's
That
the
state.
close it looks nothing like Washington State, though, unless they're, like, saying it's Spokane, which I doubt, or Seattle,
Well,
where
they're
it's
in
filmed.
Vancouver,
I know, but,
where it's really filmed.
yeah.
But again, but there is no setting. They call it Metropolitan Police and all these generic names, and they won't
Yeah, but
acknowledge what state they're in. You can't see
like
the
you say,
license plates.
yeah,
I'll take a picture of Hanson's license plate. Yep.
every sports poster is like Jim McMahon of the Bears, and,
Yes.
and then, like you said, the
Brian
Cubs, and
Bosworth.
yeah, I don't know. We listened to a podcast that they talked about the first season. They think it's in California. Makes no sense. Makes
It's
even
not.
less
Does
sense.
because
I
you know why
know.
they think that? Because that was written in the old TV. They used to have TV books where before the internet they would have a big book and it would guide to TV and it would want alphabetical order, and they would show all the major TV shows and they would write a description of it. And the description that they use for Jump Street is California-based police officers are. They just threw it in there because they were too lazy to research that it had no place. And I think, well, I know for a fact that Stephen J. Cannell and Patrick Hasberg, when they were making the show, they walked into a police station in L.A., some part of Southern California, in the L.A. area, and they were pitching something, another idea for a show, and a kid, what they thought was a kid, sat down at a desk, pulled out his lunch, and plopped down a badge and a gun. They're like, what is that 15-year-old doing with a gun? They're like, no, he's an undercover cop. He's actually 22 or something. And they go, wow, that gives us an idea. And that visual of this undercover cop that showed up at this precinct in LA gave them the idea to do this show. So naturally, people just think, okay, then it's LA because they're in LA when they thought of it. Not at all. No, don't ever think that. It's not LA. It's not California. There's snow all the time, too, by the way. So the Vancouver part destroys that.
Hmm. No, you're right. I think it's yeah. It's such a I don't know. It's an
Anytown,
unnecessary.
USA. They're trying to. I used
Yeah.
to think they didn't want to do that because they didn't want to. They were worried that they were going to portray the town or the city or the state in a bad light that says your state's so bad we need cops in schools. You know what I mean? They're trying to back away from being
Hmm.
castigated by any one state, that they're like, oh God, Chicago's so bad, we need cops in our schools.
Hmm.
So they didn't want to identify where they really were. that's
Yeah.
that's one of my theories. It
It's a good theory,
was
especially
offensive.
in the late '80s. They're also trying to. It needs to be relatable to all the kids. So,
Good
DC.
point.
Yes, I'm psyched for a 7-hour episode. Keep doing the Lord's work. Sounds like more like Satan's work to me when you're doing a 7-hour episode. And then the post work on the episode and all that fun stuff and the exporting time. But anyway, that's my problem.
DC is a long
Thank you.
time gunkophile. We love some DC.
Yeah. Thank you, DC. A Smith again, fucking nice. I got some conquering to do, his video games. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your week. And you too, A Smith.
What video game is that, H. Smith?
Valhalla? He mentions Valhalla. I don't know
Is
any
that
video games.
is that an actual? Is
I know
that a new
I know
video game?
Mario Brothers. I think so. Valhalla is like
What
a
system is it for?
Viking. I don't know. It's like a
Is
Viking
it
game, I think.
multi-platform? Yeah, yeah. You know, I think, yeah, they actually don't they run commercials for it all the time during everything,
I don't pay.
like
If they do, I don't pay
sprawling.
attention.
Yeah, some of those video commercials are great. They're super animated and well done. And I want to see a 21 Jump Street video game.
I think that ship has sailed. It would have been on
You
the
can actually do a
NES.
Fear and Loathing video game where you just have Thompson running through Vegas, going crazy. I
Yeah,
think you could.
like
I think it
a
would be
Leisure
good.
Suit Larry type.
That's
Okay, we have a special celebrity guest in our comments. Her name is Rochelle Hathaway. Oh my God, 7 hours. I'm taking this on my Instagram bikini. Sorry, I'm taking this on my Instagram bikini photo shoot jet flight to Turks and Caicos from Hawaii. Thanks, guys. I hope you talk about me again.
what a life. What a
And then I
life. That's the
respond.
real. That's her too. It's definitely her.
Oh yeah, it's
It's a
got to
picture.
be.
It's got to be her.
I said, "Hey, Roach, can't wait to interview you soon. Glad you like the show. Share with your friends." She responds back, "LOL, I'm so there." Yeah, that's her. That's totally her. Just tell me what just tell me what beach it's on and that you guys have a pina colada and a margarita per diem. LMAO. Oh, she's quite the millennial. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
laughing my ass off. She
yes.
doesn't. She won't leave Hawaii without those demands: pina colada, a private jet, and a per diem. She has to be the flight attendant on that private jet with the proper celebrity. Those are her demands, and
Yeah.
she plays hardball with it. That's definitely her. It's got to be.
Mhm. Then to wrap
Uh,
this up, we have
I
a
can't believe you get to call her Roche.
Oh,
She's
she's my
interesting.
pal.
Oh, we forgot. Let's Lauren Marie. Great work, guys. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you for listening to that and Radio Gunk. We see you in the chat all the time. Always nice for you to weigh in. Again, any questions and comments, direct us here in these comment sections. We usually see them on the Wino Forever Radio Gunk forums and the Wino Forever thread, which I have here as well. And the deppening at gmail.com or my Instagram, our Instagram, Wino Forever _ the deppening, where I'm trying I kind of slack on that. I got to post some avant-garde pictures I have.
I slack on the
Sometimes
Twitter, so this evens out.
this is from the Wino Forever thread. This is from Fudsicle. Sarah, you are not boring, for Christ's sake. You are not boring. Get it out of your head.
Is that new?
No,
Okay.
she says it all the time, though. She's great broad. She writes, Sarah, you may have already seen this, but in case you haven't, here's a funny clip of Johnny in the old Ricky Gervais show, Life's Too Short. I do remember this. I have seen it.
I
The
used
bit
that
is that he's
for one
pissed.
of our videos.
Yes, she did. It's a great bit. The bit is that he's pissed at Ricky for his Hollywood bashing at the Golden Globes as part of the end where Johnny does a mini trashing of Ricky's office. I assume it's a reference to him trashing the hotel room back in the day. Yes, it is. You're absolutely right. If anybody needs to be caught up to speed, Depp and Angelina Jolie got ripped on by Ricky Gervais in a very famous Golden Globes fearless monologue he did, where he accused the Hollywood Foreign Press of only nominating them for the tourists because they wanted to hang out with them, because Jolie and Depp are both European darlings, and I believe he's right. I
Mm-hmm.
believe he's right. Anyone saw The Tourist, it shouldn't be nominated for anything. It's just not a strong film of Depp's. It's just not. It's just excuse to get the two of them in a movie, and whatever script will throw out, you'll see it. I don't know. She's a secret agent, and they fall in love, and they're in Europe, and I don't know. There's
I heard
people after
he had a crush
him,
on
and
her for years, and
oh,
that's why he did that movie.
she had a crush on him. She met him way early on before she was famous, and it's a picture of the two. So, like I said, the Hollywood press needed an excuse to give them an award or hang out with them, and the movie is this. Who cares? And they're secret agents, and it's just Depp and Jolie in the same movie. You'll see it. It's in Europe, and she had a huge crush on him for years and years and years. And you'd always think of them in the same light for some reason, and the Brad Pitt connection. And they finally got those two in a movie together, and that's what they came up with. And
Okay.
somehow the Golden Globes deemed it necessary to nominate it, and Gervais was all over it. And then Depp has a great sense of humor about himself, and I don't think Depp likes the film. I'm sure he and showed up at the Golden Globes the next year and jumped on stage and did this kind of shtick with him where he intimidated him. And then it spawned into this, and they, I could see Gervais being a favorite of Depp's. He's got the right, he's British and and provocative and fearless, and I could see him. And I think they're fast friends from all that. Depp spun it positive, and it's a great bit they did at this show. So check that out. Check out. I think it's still online. The Golden Globes monologue he did, and the follow up, and it was really the highlight of the show. People were like, "Holy shit, you can't!" It was so out of bounds or ballsy or provocative, or whatever word we're going to use, to which is the opposite of what the Oscars is. The Oscars can't take any criticism. The Oscars will have none of that. So they don't have provocative hosts anymore. They have obsequious hosts who only kiss ass, and they won't. So this is the anti-Oscars, the Golden Globes.
Yeah, and I got to say, in the video that we're talking about with him and Ricky Gervais, he looks great. He's, even though he's decked out in all his accoutrement, I mean, he's in great shape. He's lucid.
So are you.
He's really not slurring,
Right.
like he's been lately, which makes me sad. But
which is interesting because they're allowed to drink at the Golden Globes.
He looks great in those jeans that he's wearing in the video.
So do you?
No, I don't.
So do you?
No, I don't. I know better. COVID and carbs have ruined me again. So, anyway, yeah. Keep going, sir. I'm sorry.
So we had Mike gave us the Edward Scissorhands house. We did that. Great Lazarus, saving it to watch. Thank you, Great Lazarus. I'm saving the episode to watch over the weekend. Valhalla has some downloaded content dropping today. So it's the same. I think A. Smith and Lazarus are one and the same.
Okay.
Is that where to think?
It's a coincidence if not. So,
like I said, I think Lazarus and A. Smith are one and the same. Talk about Valhalla and downloaded content. He's Lazarus on Ra's al Ghul on Gunk, and I think on YouTube he's A. Smith.
If not, let us know. Thanks.
But Johnny Bye Bye gives me a video here. Yes, Johnny Bye Bye gives us a video here on the WINO thread, and Jazzloff according to you. So he has an interview with the real W. Eugene Smith.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, he's talking about, I'm sure, the wild 70s and his life working for Life magazine, as it were, in these jazz lofts that existed. I guess he's told the comment that if you watch Minamata, there's a scene set in the 70s, and it looks like it's that wild time in the 70s. So I'm looking forward to that. Whiskey Beer Breath. I'm really digging these long format episodes. Thank you. Major props for doing 7 hours. I can't wait to listen tomorrow. Help pass the work day. To be honest, I just spent Saturday and Sunday listening. Thank you, Whiskey Beer Breath. I don't know if you're one and the same with our people on YouTube, but I don't really care. Double post, I believe. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay. All right. So thank you, everybody. We will be back with some UK stuff, and have a good day, night, morning, whatever.
The Amber Heard witnesses. Actually.
Yes. All right. Oh, forgot. Sorry. Amber Heard next, probably. All right. Bye.